Two. Bam. We are live. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. It's Uncle Jackie. I'm here with Doc and Moves,
You already
and
was
we
good,
going
y'all.
political tonight.
You
We
already know
definitely
what's
going
up.
political tonight, man. I was hoping to I really was hoping to get a couple more folks on. So hopefully some of the people I reached out to, or some of the people Moves reached out to, they come through and have
Well,
a
I
nice
put
little chat.
I put it on my Facebook page too, so hopefully my pro blacks and my all my Democrats and Republicans and independents come out there and what I mean come and speak their mind on a Charlie Kirk situation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Basically, yes. Basically, Moves. We had talked about Charlie Kirk last week. I did want you to be on. I forgot why the fuck, what happened.
Oh no,
Um,
I had doubles to work. It's our workload just kind of almost doubled, but yeah, it got me busy, so I couldn't be there.
yeah. So we had a show last week, and we was talking about everybody getting fired, people celebrating the death of a man that they really, I believe people really don't even know what they're talking about, to be for real.
Well,
I
Like
mean,
just recently, even recently as today, yesterday, whatever day it was, Yellow Tape had a nice little, he let me know he's been doing his homework and he's like, okay, this man may not be what people think he is.
yeah, I mean like I told you, like you got to look at his whole situation and not just the shorts that you see on the internet on TikTok or Insta. I don't have TikTok, so I don't know about TikTok, but I'm hearing he's on TikTok. But on Instagram, on Facebook, or just by word of mouth, you know what I mean? I heard in detail some of the conversations or some of the things that people was upset about him saying, you know what I mean? And I mean, look at the whole video and it's how that question was asked. He broke down why he felt certain situations, and he also didn't elaborate on certain situations because that question wasn't asked to him. You know what I mean? So I just kind of think, in my opinion, if I be all real about it, and I'm glad this is the start of the show and we getting this out first. It's just that I think that he never came across a strong-minded person, or not even a strong-minded person, but a person with the intellectual to debate with him on certain levels that the African American community is upset about with him about. You know what I mean?
you know what? I can agree with you more. Because before the show here, I went to go and grab some just real quick snippets. And throughout the times that I've watched his videos or watched his debates, some of them were actually live. Pardon me. Um, they struck me in such a way that, like, I wanted to share them with the show and that kind of thing. And as I was going through all these videos, I watched about, I don't know, 20, 30 of them, and kind of shorts and that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, I realized that some of the guys that he was debating, yeah, I'm not sure how they made it into college, but at the same time, he was definitely mentally competing with somebody that was that was beneath his education level.
Yes,
But
yes.
I will
Wait,
Not
argue.
not
wait,
not not
wait.
no, no, not educational
No,
level,
Hold
exactly.
on.
Charlie Kirk is a high
not
school
educational
graduate.
level. Now we can't say educational level,
Charlie
knowledgeable,
Kirk is just a
because
high school
he
graduate. His
got knowledge
intellect.
by he got knowledge within himself. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm going to break down how my community feel about certain things. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But go ahead.
wait. But the thing was that like there were low hanging fruit that he argued with. Okay, that I will admit. But when you go to colleges and universities and Ivy League colleges like Princeton, Harvard, and you argue these things with professors and students, that's a whole different story. you know
Mhm.
you're and he
He was
held
an
his own.
English.
That's how he managed to get his popularity, because he practically couldn't be argued with. He won those debates. There was no argument about it. So it's like,
Dude,
Like when you go to like universities of California, I mean, dude, you could throw a stick and hit 10 kids that are smoking pot every day. I guarantee it because I was raised there, man. I saw the kids that were going into Berkeley, SFO, you name it, dude. It was a California university. Um, there was definitely like expansion of the mind and that kind of stuff, and branching out and opening up your mind to new ideas, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that goes to an exponential level when you're still coming out of high school, impressionable youth, and you haven't quite developed your argument skills yet. You're like 18, 20 years old, and here you are, you're arguing with a 25, 30-year-old, Charlie Kirk, which that I will credit. But at the same time, when the man has got no more than a high school education, and you can look that up. He's got no more than a high school education, and he's standing before Harvard professors and Harvard students and arguing with them as far as economics to religion, constitutional views of how religion is placed in our country, etc. So, yeah, I didn't mean to steal the stage, but I just point counterpoint kind of shit.
Yeah, no, you correct though. I mean, like I said that as I'm watching these videos, I'm like, okay, he's in a college campus. What do you expect? And I also seen him,
Yeah.
at certain places where he was off campus, and he held his own. But
It pissed me off. It really pisses me off because I was looking for those particular videos, and all I could find were the kids that were, that we've already discussed some of the topics that
yeah,
they're
facts,
bringing up. You
facts.
see what I'm saying? It's like,
And
that growth and maturity was taken advantage of in those particular debates. I agree.
well, I ain't gonna say taking advantage of because I kind of think he gave everybody a fair square. He gave everybody their time and he rebutted and
True.
he gave them other questions to ask if he entertained them. You know what I mean? And not entertain them in no circus way and not entertain
Yeah.
them in no bad way or he just entertained them like let them know like we having a good conversation
Yeah, and
and
he would have to referee the crowd every once in a while so he could manage and salvage the debate out of that. Sometimes the crowd would hop on his side or hop on the other guy's side, and like I said, he would reset everything and just let the person talk, and express their view.
and that's one thing that I never saw in America, and over 45 years old. You know what I mean? I never
Yeah,
saw a debate in such that manner to where the person didn't shut down, or the person didn't say the next person, or the the person that asked the question was scooted off, or it was a protest in the back and it shut shit down. So
yeah,
we have to give them that credit and that
because
and
it
that
takes patience. That really does.
yeah, dude.
Like it really takes a bigger person to take a step back and say, hey. Let's calm down for a second. It's not a mob rule type of thing. Let's hear this
Hmm.
person out, kind of thing. Because, one of the kids was absolutely right. He's like, yeah, you've circled yourself with all these people that you've bust in. He's like, wait a second, I didn't bust anybody in. Everybody's here of their own volition. They're from here, and the people I have with me are my crew, my security. That's it.
And he would usher in the people that would debate against him and not have the same ideas as him. He would
Yeah,
rather them come up front and speak up their opinion as well. And I just don't like how certain people portray him and reference him to Martin Luther King.
well, you
Um,
know what? Here's the thing. You know what? The devil, does the thing in disguise, in the sense that, you know, maybe some people were trying to see past his polite courtesies and his debating, simply because that somebody who might be spewing any kind of hate or discourse or social discord would be wearing the wool of somebody that was courteous and kind and nice, but he'll pat you on the head and at the end of the day he'll fill you full of lies, kind of thing. And then that's a valid stance to look at something objectively, but at the same time, it's kind of ignoring the obviously true which what he wielded like there was no tomorrow. That's what made him absolutely remarkable in my book. I mean, um, my mom taught. Just kind of giving you kind of a personal story. My mom taught something called catechism in Catholic school, and you didn't get confirmed unless you passed through this class. And confirmation is one of the seven sacraments that a Catholic will receive throughout their life. They're these blessings that you have to learn about and cultivate into your life. And like I said, she was master's in religious teaching, and she knew chapter and verse and how it applied today. Most importantly, how it applied today. And she constantly knew verses, and now, especially as technology advanced and politics advanced, it was a means of looking at religion to really ground myself politically as well. So it was not just politically, but in my own culture, trying to find a woman that isn't going to be, A, B, or C. I was given this criteria that I could trust in, that would promise me a decent future with a woman, life lasting, etc. And um, my mom had this ability, especially when my life seemed to come out of compass. She managed to find some sort of like scripture or story or parable that would help me out and reset me and put me into place. And the only person that could do it better, and my mom did it better than some pastors and priests and deacons and you name it. Like I've been around it for most of my life, and um, she did it well. And then after she passed away, the world didn't make much sense, because or there were times where the world didn't really make much sense, and I didn't have that reference anymore. And there were people like Charlie Kirk and others that Jordan Peterson was another one. Um, Jesse Lee Peterson, that dude's fucking wild. And that was a really grounding as far as religion was concerned, and it made more sense when I would read the Constitution and the other constitutions of the land. You got the Federalist Papers. They all tie in.
Salute Fakwa.
Sorry. Oh, what's up, Aqua?
What up, fuck? What up, Tito? Yeah,
Sauce.
man.
I thought Sauce was on the stage.
Nah, he backstage.
Yes, he said he was.
Oh,
Now we have to have a. We about to basically. I'm about to play videos. I'm gonna go around the horn. We got people,
Yo, hold on, we can't hear you, Uncle Jackie. And Sauce, what's good, bro? Your mic, your background noise, bro. Uncle Jackie, repeat what you were saying.
I'm just listening. My kid over here scratching my back about
What's
something.
good, Brody?
Peace, everybody.
So,
Peace,
yeah,
peace.
we coolin'.
yep.
Who's
What's up? What's
y'all can hear
up?
me?
Yep. Loud and clear.
All right. Basically, I'm gonna play some vids, and we gonna go around. Basically, it's gonna be I guess 2 minutes apiece to talk about whatever. No interrupting nobody. We gonna go. If you on the Summer Jam screen, the show is yours for 2 minutes. Josh, what's good, yo? I sent you a invite via hit that like button and then go to your what's the name? Your messenger. I sent you a I
A
think I thought
link,
I sent
pause.
you an invite.
Well,
But
yo,
yeah,
don't, no, not for nothing, bro. Throw the link inside the chat too, so people from my end
no.
that coming on Facebook, what I mean, if they choose to come on, I mean, if they say stupid shit, they get the fuck off. But you already know nobody ain't coming on mine. Let me pause. But any event,
Yeah, hold on, let me damn, hold on, let me get my book. Oh no, I got my book. All right, because I feel
yo,
like I'm
and plus,
understood.
and yo, I mean, this goes to more so the moves than anybody, because I know I lose train of thought too. I got a book in front of me with a piece of paper, so
I was about to say if you got beef
any
with somebody,
rebuttals word, put
you
it
hold
down
your
on the piece of
rebuttal
paper so
down,
we can, you know what I mean, so we can have that,
and at the end
that
of the
debate.
videos, all
Yeah.
of them, then y'all had a free fall shit. Then it's gonna be one on one because I don't want no Like I want everybody. I don't want to have to say be quiet. Hold on. Let it just one person. You're gonna be one on one. Whatever. If you got a battle, you got a question for somebody. Y'all talk about it. You got 2 minutes. Shout out to TPP because that's where I got the shit from.
Yeah, what
They
up,
do 4
TPP?
minutes, but we only doing two. You
Copy.
call out whoever you
I
call out.
copy.
Hey, for this video, you said such and such. How do you feel about whatever your boggle is? But hold on. All right, Sauce just came on. You heard of Charlie Kirk, right, Sauce?
Yeah.
Man, you at a party or something.
It sounds like you got Applebee's.
I'm putting my charger and shit so I can sit in my garage and not disturb anything, not be
No
disturbed.
doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
We just got jokes. You know how we do, bro.
Mhm.
Hey, I ain't living around the elements for so long that I be serious when it shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah, how do you feel about Charlie Kirk?
For me personally, like because I'm into the biomatrix a lot. So like on a personal level, I think Charlie Kirk remind me of like people who you don't leave around kids on a physical, like how he just look. He just have,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Ouch. Damn. Just hit us with both barrels on your chip. He squeezed both them triggers, man.
It
It's
says send
like,
them to the
fuck.
show.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, baby.
yeah, thank you, guys. I'm saying, like, and as far as his politics and stuff, I mean, it's a good middle ground, for like because I'm as far as what's that word I'm looking for? What you call it? You know, racial stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's because I didn't really get deep into him. I'm not like a fan or even a critic. You get what I'm saying? It's just that
Yeah.
he died, and then so he became more popular or whatever on my algorithm. But he had a good position for a young white male who is a general person, didn't make it in the ranks of the educational system. Made good for himself through a packaged way of expressing certain opinions that large groups of people might have. But yeah,
Check
you
out,
know,
y'all.
maybe 2 minutes up.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And I think that
We ain't start yet.
oh shit, okay. I can't even trust that he, is even really a dead person or like I just don't trust nothing to the extent where because I didn't put my brain into it so much per se. You know what I mean? But
mm-hmm.
um, it looked like it could be a scam. The whole general of it. Maybe some guy really
I
did
can't
get
hear you no more. I don't know if it's me or
everything else is a scam. The way it's being handled. I see a lot of white people finding ways to commit violence towards each other, or at least sort violence, where you get somebody fired. The things that used to happen to us a lot, they're doing it to each other more so, and they're making a public spectacle of it, almost like a public lynching. So,
Well, wait, you're associating it with a public lynching?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How is that where people watch somebody? Yeah, yeah, dude. I don't even want to describe it, but dude, that's
Yes.
you're correct. You're comparing one horrific
Yeah, one.
thing.
He's a. If the statement is that some liberal or whatever killed him, or you know what I'm saying, and he's a conservative, and, there's lots of liberals. People was cheering. There was people celebrating when it did happen right there in front of the camera. So I'm just saying it is like a public lynching. It's just it,
I see. I see.
I
I
kind of
it,
agree with
misunderstood.
what he's saying there. I get
it
it.
Yeah.
it's definitely the
I
same
don't.
thing. That we live in a time matrix where time varies, and so if I'm black, I'm looking at something from a linear fashion with stories that come to me in a linear order, in a linear construct, right?
Yeah.
Versus, right? So yeah, of course, I gotta match it up with something from that I'm taking from my bank of
Because like on an energy scale, like do you feel like you're receiving more frequencies as far as the that Kirk vibe, where like it was more of a like a unification that was taking place as opposed to like some sort of separatist movement.
I think it was more like agitation and stirring up something that's not, because my take on people, or because okay, so I, he has like a three-pronged sword, right? So he was talking race relations, right? That's the thing that would more gravitate to me, since to me he was like a nobody on the spectrum, but his racial topics hit me because I'm black, right? And other
Okay,
people focus on them. You get what I'm saying?
right.
What I do understood, he also had a pro-nationalist stance. That's the other prong on the sword. And then the other side, there's a conservative, right? So it's like nationalism, pro-white, and then conservative, right? But the nationalist is where he was more like, we're unified, but I can be with on my side, right, with my, whiteness, and you can be on your side with your blackness, but still a nationalist. That to me, that's a nonsensical thing. So I didn't really give much credence to that. The other thing is, I don't really put much value, as far as a dad or a human being who makes the kind of children I make on purpose, into people who just make the same way. So their politics to me is like listening to an old radio that's not going to change. So that's why I call him an agitator. He's not unifying nothing or separating anything. He's just like, he found a way to make a living in a system of people that was going to keep doing the same shit anyway.
I well, at the same time, like that particular lifestyle that he was projecting or influencing the public to kind of take hold of was
Yeah.
diminishing. I mean, it's like diminishing the population. It's diminishing like birth rates are at their lowest when they should be at their highest at this point. But the government has encouraged people to be independent, to like from yeah, people encourage people, and I say people too because they like men are encouraged to be just independent of all problems in the world except the ones that they create, kind of thing. And the same thing goes for the women when
You know,
those
a
you know
layer, the a layer of the government is to imply control, right? Whether by making you believe they're forcing it, when in reality, if you analyze the situation, forced, right? They work their way into legalities where people can then force them out of some situations. You get what I'm saying? Like
not quite.
by some shit, right? So I mean, I think that it's not really, flip my brain again, man, because
Okay, like let me put it to you
What up,
this way: like
Josh?
if the government is shitty at what it does, and the Constitution basically tells us that the government can be shitty at their jobs. It's not that they have a right to do it; it's a simple fact that government regulation in the first place almost cost us a 2% tax. You know, the 2% tax on tea, is what sent us over the fucking, and here, if we fast forward nowadays, and now we're giving up a third of our check. Every fourth check that you get, you don't get. Okay, that's going to the government in taxes, man, like it or not. So Americans are fed up with that shit. Like there's no tomorrow. I mean, that's just one aspect of the government that Republicans are, and conservatives and the people in the middle are fed up with. We're tired of the taxes being spent in all kinds of outrageous ways, from war to you name it. But and I can go down a rabbit hole. But my question to you is that if I'm giving you this response as a conservative, I'm like, look, dude, that I couldn't agree with you more. The more control that a government wants to have over us, that's bad. Government control, bad. I will say that until my face is blue. But at the same time, that's where you and I see eye to eye. And if you and I see eye to eye, is it possible that I can convince you that this current administration is taking measures to go in that direction, to go and provide consequence for people who not only say some horrendous shit. And by the way, um the Jimmy Kimmel cancellation had nothing to do with the government. Yeah, the government people in the government didn't like his fucking it didn't weren't
That's
amused by his
Ratings was
comedy,
that's
shit.
bull.
but
That's
ABC
bullshit.
ABC and
That's
CBS
bullshit.
didn't. They saw their fucking ratings going down and
He
they
was in
dropped
third
his ass.
place out of 4 night shows.
Yes, and they got a wind of what he was going to do. He was going to double down on the next speech that he had because he got poor ratings, and then next thing you know, they said no.
Yo,
There's
it's
no
like
no
Josh, what's
bullshit.
going
He
on,
sent
Josh?
in his material. He
I
sent
want
in
to
his
welcome Josh
material.
to the show. I want to welcome Josh to the show.
Oh yeah, what's up, man?
Yo,
Josh, what's going on, brother?
was
Welcome, welcome.
goody, was goody, was goody.
It's about to be a wild ride for the next, I don't know how many hours we gonna talk, but just know we gonna talk. These are the
Yeah.
folks that I was talking about last week when you joined me last week, and I was saying I got a man from Kentucky. This is Moves right here from Kentucky. Y'all could discuss that, you know what I mean,
Oh,
later on.
what up?
But
Nice.
yeah, y'all both in Kentucky. Y'all both know pun. Y'all both know the block.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know how y'all just bump into each other.
How in the fuck?
So hold up, Josh. You don't know AA Ron?
Aaron? That's
Yeah.
something, man.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
if he's from 117, then yeah, if
That's
you're
what I'm saying.
117
Y'all gotta
between
know each other.
yeah,
And y'all
yeah.
both know each other.
117. I was on
Park and
117
Lex.
heavy. Yeah,
Yeah, between Park and Lex.
facts. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, y'all had to know each other. We used to sit
Yeah,
on the stoops
because
and
it was
all that shit.
facts.
Yep.
Because it was back in the day. It was me, Kareem, and Pun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Oh,
Rest
yeah.
in peace to Reem. Rest in peace to
Rest in.
Reem.
Oh no
yeah.
shit.
Rest
Rest
in
in
peace,
peace,
Rain.
Reem.
Rest in
Facts,
peace,
No
Reem.
facts,
shit. I just got that news now. Fuck,
facts.
man.
Oh damn, word.
Wow,
No,
word, man. I haven't been on Facebook extensively, man, and I
Yeah,
gotta
man.
kind of search for him.
yeah, we gonna
Shit,
hopefully
man. That's
y'all
heavy.
can link after word. Cause shit, y'all might be what city you in moves?
I'm in about 12 miles north of Barstown.
Oh,
Where you
nice.
at?
Oh shit, I know where that's at.
Yeah.
I'm in Indiana. I'm in what you call it, Charlestown.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're just a stone's throw away.
Yeah, right there by Louisville.
Yeah. You're just a
Yes,
bridge crossing
that
away,
sounds
man.
like
That's
near
it.
enough to
It's like
drink beer.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
That's near
That's
enough to drink beer right
crazy.
there. But
I
now the 2 minute shit gonna start. I'm
Nah,
gonna
nah,
play
nah, nah. Hold
Charlie
on, hold
Kirk.
on, hold on. Before you get to 2 minutes, and no disrespect. I know it's your show, but Josh got to come in and give his thoughts on Charlie Kirk real quick, and
Oh
then
yeah,
we
yeah.
start
He
off.
did last week. That's why I didn't say. But go ahead,
Okay.
John.
Uh, all right. Yeah. What you call it?
How long?
I
First, hold
mean,
up.
I
Let me ask you a
still,
question. How long did you been? When did you? How long did have you discovered? When did you discover him?
man. I've been
And then if you like
honestly,
him a lot.
I've been listening to Charlie Kirk since 2016, and
Okay.
what you
Yeah.
call it? Like I've been on it. Like with like some of the stuff that he says, I agree with to a certain extent. The only thing that I don't agree with is the that he doesn't think that there's white privilege.
Right.
Mm.
You know, like that's the only thing. There wasn't like you could look up any video or anything and try to find something that this man that says racist. There's nothing that he has says
I,
racist
I I I
Yeah.
haven't heard
at
I
all.
haven't heard nothing racist come from. I
Me
mean,
neither.
he may have targeted certain individuals that you may be like, oh, damn, why you said their name? You know what I mean?
But be
But
better. Be better.
but but
Well,
but in the same token, I haven't heard nothing that was like like racist from the dude yet. You know what I mean? And
Dude,
I
I'm
and
a
you been in 2016. I'm just finding out about this dude now.
I
And
mean,
I think I've seen him in other stuff too. You know what I mean? But I just
I
like,
saw
yeah,
him
babe.
break down.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
saw him break down some kids about black fathership. It was a very sensible statement, but it didn't make sense to say it to those kids in that scenario where it was like in a college. And it was like because one of the things that I find that people like him do, there's another guy that sort of reminds me of him, like a Fuentes or whatever that character name is. But
oh,
they
no,
they bring up all these
no,
stats as if it's not a
he
known
didn't.
fact
He didn't. He didn't mess
that
with Fonte.
cops.
He didn't mess with Fuentes.
Yeah.
What you call it? Like they try
Well, I
to
was just
put
saying
the
they
whole
have like the same kind of
Concept.
rhetoric when it comes to
Yeah.
like black fathers absent in the household
he
and
was
the crime
concerned.
rate and all that.
He was concerned about black fathers being absent in
Yeah,
households.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
You know,
Like what
but
you
what
call
I'm
it?
saying is like
If he was
if
racist,
he,
why would
I'm
he
not saying he was
be
racist.
concerned?
I'm not saying he was racist, but what I'm saying is the undertone, especially for somebody who is either in his age group or even younger people than him. You know, if you're in that space where you're looking at statistics and things like that, and you're bringing up race and you're him and you're well educated and you're out of the college, you educate yourself in nature. You educate yourself in just like the common man, right?
Right.
Then
No, no, no,
most
no.
of us,
Time out for a
uh,
second,
uh,
though. Charlie Kirk didn't educate himself like every other man. This is what made him unique. He had the ability to memorize what he reads. Like he went through books like there was no tomorrow. He was like, I'm not going to say
May
photographic
he rest
memory.
in peace. Look at his big ass head. You know what I
I
mean?
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I
straight
think he
up,
has
man. I
some
mean,
all
like,
right, all right. So okay, so
but
granted he has a special ability. Granted he has a special
yeah,
ability, right? My point is that special ability, it has memory in it. So I know he's been around Candace Owens, right?
yeah.
When she was younger,
That's
I
another
think
she
he's
big
used
been
range.
around him.
she used to pitch
I
she
think
used to
he's been
pitch a
around
certain
him.
kind of rhetoric. I'm just saying he has. It's not like he ain't been around black people. It's not like he's not in America growing up in the media like
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is, right?
Yeah.
And let's just be honest here. If you think criminal records on black people actually mean that's the reality, when it's we already have well over 2,000 people who've been vindicated already for just stupid shit mistakes that cops make, the DA make, illegal court proceedings. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't get people who use those stats to mean something anymore. It don't really mean anything anymore to some degree when you're talking
Well,
about,
well, if you're
you know,
looking at,
like
justice
because if
reform,
like if
you're
you're
gonna.
arguing with somebody that systematic racism is not real, it's just how you choose to live your life. Those two things are true and not true at the same time, depending on who you're talking to,
Yeah, but he's
right?
saying that the
It's like,
solution.
but
Wait,
That's
wait, wait.
true.
He's saying that the
I
To a
solution
certain
to
extent, I
crime.
agree with that.
He's saying the
and Kirk
solution.
tends to
Hold on,
Kirk
hold on,
tends to
hold on a second. He's saying the solution to crime is having a father in the house, and
right, and those are things black
the
people did
evidence
already. So
proves
what I'm
too. I
saying
mean,
is
like, no, no, wait,
but
hold
most
on,
also but
dude, that, dude, dude,
hold
wait, wait, wait,
hold
wait.
on y'all.
hold on,
That's
wait,
such
But
a
wait,
is he not putting
that,
into the
but that,
wait,
factor that
One at
the
a time.
government took the fathers out the house, and he not putting it into the factor of
right.
how the culture of the African Americans is being manipulated and being abused, as far as
oh, without a doubt.
we didn't have equal rights coming into it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he
Right. What I'm
he
saying, and
didn't
this
put
is what
that
I'm
into the
saying, it's like
factor.
it's deliberately so. So it's to me, it's like
And it's
me
manipulate
being
and it
a
and it's
me being
manipulating
what a black American would
his
consider a
begat
thedder,
home.
and having the ability to see that, and me knowing other white people from other countries and making babies with different kinds of people and watching them have the same observation makes me know that it's not me just having this bias because I'm a black American who feel like we're victims. You get what I'm saying? Like this is an
Absolutely.
observation that everybody outside America makes. And especially if you're a foreigner, like I'm somebody who have a unique position. I get to be American, but I also don't get to be American, but I also am black, but you know what I'm saying? I'm whatever, you know. So like the
Wait,
unique position I get to be in,
you don't feel like
like
an American.
no, I feel like everything, man. The whole planet existence, like all this should belong to me. I get to be whatever. And I'm saying, like, if
Well,
like
no,
naturally,
dude,
that's how.
that's unfortunately there are huge countries of people that will
Yeah, I
disagree with
get
you.
that. I'm saying that's what you that's
Not only disagree with you, but cut your head off if you traipse on their land.
that's why I'm
Like,
not right.
I mean, like,
That's why I'm not where they are right now.
so
And this
how
is
is it
why
that
America.
how is
This
it
is
that
why
you have
America
the no
exists.
no? How did you acquire the mentality? I'm just curious, man. I'm sorry, try not to laugh, man.
It's
But
what happens when you get. It's
like,
what happens when you have a healthy DNA. So I'll give you the example how that works, right?
the healthy
So you
DNA
have
got
health.
to do with
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
African
I'm telling you.
community.
Just ask me the question. I'm gonna give you the answer. It's
Okay,
a
I'm
really
sorry.
simple thing.
I'm sorry.
So my mother and my father are two unique people who have genetic advantages, right? and they came together and they combined and made me. But not only did they happen to have conveniently for my dad, he was a Marine, a warrior, a fighter, right, in Colombian Army. I mean, in the Colombian Navy. He was working with America in the 80s where he met my mom. She was working in a bar. She's a Trinidadian who came from a very important group of people in the Caribbean. They very
Okay.
wealthy, right?
Mhm.
I happen to be a product of that. But then my mother tried to neglect me, but my grandparents found me. They raised me a little bit, then sent me to New York to live with her. Then I ended up going in group homes, right?
Okay.
Um, so not just that, I got educated really, really good at a young age, but then I got left alone to just do my own thing and have strangers do whatever around me. You get what I'm saying? So I was able to have the ability to do all kinds of shit. And also, I was never like a coward and shit. So I would go into any group of people and just befriend them, learn something about them, and just live like them
Yeah.
for whatever reason, right? Because I didn't
Mhm.
have no parents. There was no, so it's like I was smart enough to understand what was going on around me. I could read things that other people couldn't at a really young age. So, and I'm not scared of people, and I understand how human psychology works and shit. Is just that's the way I'm. That's how I am the way I am.
Do you
You
think like because is there a possibility that you could take the and fill in the blanks of certain abilities that you may or may not have with the abilities that you have? See, because that's what I'm thinking right
yeah,
now. I'm
yeah.
thinking
Of
like
course, I
that,
could sit down and
that you
here's the thing.
are filling in the blanks that you have, and
Well, I
I
don't just fill in
expect
the
you like
blanks. I have, like, for example,
I believe
if I have to,
to a certain
if I
level
have to
you
live next
agree.
to somebody, I have to understand the person I have to live next to, right? That's
Yes, but
just natural human shit. So,
and
but a part of who, a part on top of that, I have access to things, just like they have access. So, example, I talk funny, right? I have certain ways of saying certain shit. I'm
yeah,
in a group home with you. I'm just giving you a hypothetical based on what we're familiar with and other people are familiar with, right? You from here, you got like 5 or 6 generations of people from here. I don't got nothing, nobody, everybody that's related to me, they got their own shit going. I can't just show up at their door. My mom's abandoned me again, right? I'm in a fucking room with a stranger. I gotta learn you, you gotta learn me, right?
yeah.
I happen to learn how to read legalese and all kinds of shit. You're in legal trouble. I could talk to you about that shit, get you out of the trouble. You know some niggas who got connections to weed and all this other shit. You know somebody who could drive me to a different state. We could make moves or whatever. I fucking connect with you so because I gotta make something out of myself. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
just out of that,
absolutely. I
I'm
mean, like,
learning. I'm bonding and I'm
there
learning.
was,
So I
yeah,
ain't
but
got a choice.
there was nobody standing there going, "Look, this is a poor fucking choice. You're gonna head down a dead end, and you're gonna be
Well,
lucky if
actually,
you
yeah, there was a whole culture, and there was a whole culture and adults around me who ran a whole sort of frequency of mind games of how to behave, what group you want to be around. That's constant. That's always going on. That never stops, right?
okay,
Like,
so if that was
like
there,
if
like how would you come?
if I'm around certain, if I'm around niggas that's if I'm around people that's constantly talking about niggas ain't shit, sometimes it's easy for me to adapt to that spirit. But because I have the ability to have
Uh,
got along with different groups of people, right? I
yeah,
have access to know different. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
And I know for
absolutely.
a fact that white Americans are really um, a group of people who tend to not really take accountability. Just the relationship black men have to the black woman is pretty much the relationship the black race in America, the black groups in America have to white Americans. You know, like there's no accountability. There's just a Passover and a rebranding of doing the same shit over and over. But it got
I
to a
think
point
you're
where, hey,
honestly
hear me out.
missing.
It
Yeah, yeah,
got to
but
a point where,
I think you're mixing. I think you're mixing the lack of accountability with a like kind of a this desire to be free, this desire to be happy. Like,
yeah. I mean, I could see, I could still see
okay?
how I
What are the biggest
could
observations?
personalize shit based
What
on
are the
how I didn't
wait,
have parents. I could
hold on.
see how I
What are
could
the
do that,
what are the
but
biggest
it's still a
observations?
reality.
Wait, one of the biggest observations that I've heard from black folks is how happy white folks are all the time. And it's um it's a racist joke.
To me, that's a gaslight, though. I don't. Yeah, I don't believe in
You
that
know,
happiness.
but at the
To me,
same
that's a
time,
bit. Most of
when
yeah.
you're discouraged, when you're not, you
in
know how
person.
to earn the privileges in life. Nobody shows you those things, man. It's that life is a whole lot fucking harder.
That's how they try to keep us separated because they say
Yeah.
one group does this
Yeah, but
and one
see,
group does this and one group
here's the
does
thing.
this. Like that's how they try to keep us separated because in reality, all groups does that. You know what
One
I
of the
mean?
things we got to
Like,
realize is we're talking to people who have fathers in their homes, right? Sometimes you and I say we. This is me taking on the spirit now of the average person who ain't got a dad or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's a part of my shit too. It's just that I had father figures. I had access to lots of father figures, and I had a brain that was able to calibrate and say, "Hey, these are father figures. Use them for what they are." Not
Yeah.
everybody have that privilege, right? Because they get
Well,
your first, you get emotionally indoctrinated by their moms, and it's hard to
okay.
do that when your mom's
I,
have
I,
you, right? I didn't have that.
yes, I understand.
So
And
what
you
I'm
know what, dude?
so one of the things I'm not
I'm
I'm not
gonna
a
drop.
stupid
I'm gonna drop.
sing-songy person, but what I'm
Well,
saying
yeah,
is this,
but
right?
I'm gonna
A
drop it.
lot of
Hey, hold
fathers,
on, hold on.
a
Let me
lot of
let me
a lot of
Let
a
him
lot of
wrap this up.
hey,
Let's
dude,
wrap
dude,
this
yeah, let me
dude.
wrap it up real quick. I'm gonna
Let's
say
wrap
this
this
real
up.
quick. A lot of white Americans, in comparison to black
Uh,
American males, have father figures, right?
no,
In
dude.
their actual household, right?
No, I'm trying to
In
tell
their
you,
household,
brother,
right?
brother, brother,
Well,
brother.
if we're arguing with
I'm trying to, I'm trying to tell you
let me
something.
make a
Look,
point real quick. Let me
look,
make a
look,
point
look, look,
before you
look,
try
look,
to
look,
tell me.
look.
Let me just make the
No,
because
no,
it can't
I
be
understand. I understand your struggle, and this is what
because if
I'm trying to tell you that
I
a
don't have
lot
a
of
struggle, I
dude,
don't have a
dude.
struggle. I'm just trying to point something
Yes,
out to you.
Fellas,
I'm trying to
fellas,
yes.
point something out. You keep telling me I have a struggle,
Struggle
bro.
is
I don't
not
have a
bad.
struggle.
Yes,
fellas,
you do.
I'm trying to
I'm telling you
explain
this
to you.
right now.
Chances are,
Without look, it left you
chances
to
are,
assume, dude. You left you to
yo,
fellas,
assume.
listen,
It left you to
listen.
assume
You
what.
want to
Noah,
know
too much
why?
right
You want to
now.
know why there's always a. This is why I'm saying there.
You're
You
doing
want to
too
know
much.
why there's always this issue where a person who thinks they're talking to a black person thinks they're talking to a person describing victim mentality. I'm
No,
not a victim. I'm just telling you something that is a reality
no, but
that I could see and sense, right? And one of those things is that when you talking to a white American male about politics and race relations, chances are he's talking to the person who's elevated himself versus the person like if I'm talking to you, chances are you're trying to tell me, well, I have less of something and I wasn't that privileged as you say I am, right?
no,
So
no, no.
you're coming from a
That's
declining,
not the
you're
aspect.
coming in, no, no,
No,
no,
no.
listen to me. You're coming in from a declining family construct, whereas I'm trying to elevate myself. So me and my elevation, I'm talking about the shit storm that I left behind, and I'm just referencing past situations that's compelling me to go forward and upward. And to you, it might come off as well. I'm just complaining, right? And I'm
No,
trying to
no,
tell
no,
you is
no.
that
That's not. It's not the point. My point was is this
it is a point because
dude,
Fellas,
stop
somebody
it,
like
fellas,
Charlie
check
Kirk
this
dude,
would
out.
dude,
believe
I
somebody
mean,
like
dude,
Charlie Kirk would
I
stop,
believe
mean,
that me talking
can you
about
hear me?
no,
statistics
what I'm
is
trying to no, what I'm trying to
statistics
that
is
say,
that
not
wasn't the
what I'm
point that he was
trying to
trying to make.
say, that the
That
point I'm
wasn't.
trying to make is that your trip
Yo,
would have been
I'm
a
not being
whole lot
good.
easier if there
Mhm.
was a dad steadily there. My point is this. Look, dude, I may be a white dude. I went to private school. My folks paid tuition. I took a fucking
Yeah.
taxi to school. I lived in a two-story house,
Yo,
3,500 square foot. Okay, big home, the whole 9 yards. Okay, I did not want for anything growing up.
yo,
But the very second my dad
That
left,
sound low.
the very second my dad
oh
left,
wow.
everything fell apart. Everything. It wasn't. That's how important it is to have a father in the house. Because I dropped out of school, got my GED, started working immediately. The only job I could find was moving furniture. So the thing
Okay,
is,
I get that.
like
That's really
my
hardcore
point
personal.
is that no, no, no. I mean, I understand, and yours was personal too. But the thing is my mic got turned down. Here you go. I could. There we go. Anyway, my point is that that's the importance of having a dad there. Charlie Kirk was always about having the family, the black, white, fat, tall, skinny, small, it didn't matter. So long as American families were continuing themselves, because those struggles that you had in order for you to fill in your own blanks could have been easily helped out with somebody who already knew the ropes, or at least some of those ropes, and
All right, so
you could have
let me
avoided
tell you
so
let me
many
tell you
pitfalls.
where let me
That's
tell you
where it's
how.
not anybody speaking down.
No, I
It's
wasn't even saying that. I'm just
very
saying I want to put a perspective out there, right?
Yeah,
again, and this is why
Yo,
I want to
yo,
put a perspective out there.
hold on one second,
Mhm.
So it's Uncle Jack. You said I'm gonna let you make the point after you said this right here. But everybody, Uncle Jack about to throw the video up there, so we're gonna
Oh
pay
yeah,
attention to the
yeah,
video. So you
yeah.
gonna
We
make
got a
you
little
gonna make your
past it.
you gonna make your last comment, and then Uncle Jack is gonna throw the video up there. Then we're gonna have the 2 minute screen, whatever. Like how you said. Go ahead, Source.
All right. So basically, bro, I want to just put this perspective out there, right? You got to look at it like this, right? Some people they don't have fathers, and there's reasoning behind it, right? One of the things that blacks have to do in a public forum, right, to get certain doctrines out and to even self-heal and to trigger growth and awareness into other people is point out certain problems within a social construct, right? So
Yeah.
that you have a wall to bounce off of, right? Something
Right.
solid, right? You can't just sit there and be like, black men are losers, or they just didn't like your mama, and that's why it didn't work out. Let me tell you something. Right now, me living in an all-white town, as a person who is of different kinds of cultures and have access to everything, so I'm not always on that white people don't fuck with me or whatever. I'm forced to actually realize that they are fucking with me. Like
Mhm.
if I don't have a business or trade or some shit going on, I'm not, like my name spreads fast out here over petty shit. And now I'm not getting a job in places, or the temp agencies all like, blackballing me, just a little silly shit like that I know is on some bull. And it's again, it might not be just racism, it just be I don't fit in or I'm different or whatever, right? But it
Right.
still plays out that way. And people use tactics to keep you like they'll make you the stereotype. People will actively, right, as a group, make you the stereotype that they want to say you are. And that's something like I have criminal records that when I apply for jobs, I have to explain to people why I have those criminal records. And I'm to be honest with you, I needed to go to work the next day. I couldn't afford to stay in court for 3 and 4 weeks or whatever the fuck it was and then pay the bill and all this stuff. And there's thousands of niggas like me and people who have generations of. I'm the first generation from my mother side and my father's side to experience it because I was made by two foreigners here. You get what I'm saying? But I know
Yeah.
niggas who and if you wasn't me, it took me a few half a microbe of a generation because I met other people who took years to garner the information to know where to go and even get it. You
Yep.
get what I'm saying? To
Yeah,
meet
because my
me,
grandfather,
for me to benefit, for
my
me to benefit
grandfather, my
off that
grandfather came in
information.
through the front
Move. No mean
door.
to cut
Yeah,
you
So
off, Move. We going
so
to the
yeah,
video now.
yeah.
We
Let's
going to the
go.
so
video.
yo,
I'm
y'all
not
can
gonna.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you when
Yeah.
no one else is talking, but you mad low when everybody else is talking.
Okay. All right. We went like way left, right, up, down,
Yeah.
like we all over. Ain't nobody said Charlie Kirk in like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Like I mean,
yeah. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. That's what the show is about.
Yeah. Throw the flag up. Move the post back there.
so hold on. I'm kind of mad. I got a lot of shit I done saved up. I don't even know where to start. But we're gonna start with this dummy, and we're gonna each have 2 minutes, and we talk about why she's a dummy, or why they're dummies, or why you don't think they're dummies. I mean, this is America, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me make sure everything is right.
What the fuck are you supposed to do when you get fired? If it's one thing I've learned from this Charlie Kirk situation, it is that freedom of speech is only free when the mob agree with you. Yeah, the moment they don't agree with you, it's gonna cost you. Unfortunately, thousands of people have lost their jobs in just 1 week for getting on the internet. I'm
I laugh
unemployed.
at
What
that
am I supposed to do now? Do I go home and goon? Like, I was just fired from my job. So I
This is McDonald's. I'm loving it.
yesterday. And told me that they could either fire me or I could put a resignation in. And I made some stupid comments about Charlie Kirk, and
Go figure.
I said some things
Uh-uh.
and on threads that I'm sorry, not sorry for, but I said them, and I deleted them when it was requested that I do so.
You can always see it in the eyes.
Fuck-
Look at
Fucking
the
punk.
eyes. Look at the eyes, man. It's fucking crazy.
on a weekend.
That dude's got a list of people to kill, man. I'm telling you this right now.
Yo, I saw him too. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, dude, it's the wild eyes. They calm first, and then all of a sudden, it's just
And,
like
and that's the whole scheme of the whole
look into
Kirk
the
event,
camera.
man. Hey, they trying to reap that shit.
I don't care. And yet I was still fired from a job where my role was to increase educational equity to all students.
Okay, so you're talking to kids about your shit.
No. That was like, that's my job. It was like my identity too. Like that's been my whole career.
Job. I was just fired from my 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 fucking job. I have nothing but this.
Fuck
I
that
have
guy.
nothing but this website. I have nothing anymore.
You'll always
I
have those
nothing.
stockings.
I have nothing
You
anymore.
see how the weak fall? You see how the weak fall? This is how the weak fall.
Well, that last one right there, if that's your phone worker, call in to work. Call in to work for a few days.
Dude, I want to tell you guys on behalf of white folks, man, anytime we threw a fit like that, we would have got our asses whooped at like 4 or 5 years old. Okay, that shit is taken care of way early in my generation.
Nah, but what Dude said at the end, for real, Dude might shoot up his job.
Oh yeah,
He
Wait,
might
hold
do
on.
this shit.
Hold on. I don't know why the fuck I can't do what the fuck I'm trying to do.
Dude said, "This is all I have.
remember how to do it.
This is all I have." Yeah, he's gonna kill people at that job.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
crazy part
He's
about
doing
it,
Why
that.
is he not giving him the fucking solo?
nobody
Okay, I
gave
think
him
I know
the
what I'm
value
talking
of
about.
life. Nobody gave him the value.
Hey man, get out of here. I'm
You know.
I kind of think. I mean, we make fun of him. I kind of think that's
Oh my gosh, why
that's
I'm just
tasteful.
doing this?
You know what I mean? But if you just spoke out against him, or you know what I mean, I think that there is a freedom of speech in that aspect.
Yeah.
Give him
Yeah,
2 minutes.
yeah.
Yo, matter of fact, Moves, you got 2 minutes. Go
There's a
ahead.
difference between freedom of speech and then like you
Y'all
celebrating
hear
a
me?
man's death.
Nah, that's
Oh,
what
no,
I'm
no,
saying.
no, 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 no.
Celebration.
There isn't.
Yo,
Actually, I'll disagree
ahead,
with
Aaron.
that.
Go
I'll
ahead,
disagree
Moves.
with that. I believe in saying whatever the fuck you want to say, okay? But what you say has consequences, okay?
Mhm,
So, like,
mhm.
I can't go into a black bar and start spouting off KKK shit, man. I deserve to get my ass beat
You
right
could.
then and
You
there.
could do whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Well,
But
exactly. But everything has consequences of what you
yes.
say. Now, Charlie Kirk's consequences was the ultimate sacrifice. That's the difference between like losing a job that you can easily replace, i.e., Jimmy and Kimmel included. Man, he he can start his own podcast. If he was that badass, if he was such a great comic in the whole 9 yards and followed so much, then he'll have no trouble finding a following on his own channel, just like Don Lemon did. Oh, that dude's on the fucking streets interviewing people now. The thing of it is, if these guys had any kind of talent whatsoever, they would have already, there would be no controversy in any way, shape, or form. They would have kept Jimmy Kimmel on the first place. That's what tells you that his jokes were going to drop ratings like there was no tomorrow, and that would cost the sponsors and producers, everybody, millions upon millions of dollars per episode. And that's why Steve Colbert was canceled too. He was costing the production company hundreds. What was it? 100 million or 70 million?
Can you hear me, Move?
And so that's it. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, went off. Yes, loud and clear.
All right,
So,
all right, cool. Go
yeah,
ahead. You
I
still
think that's
got 35 seconds. You got 35
okay.
seconds.
So back on to where was it? Because I went off on a tangent for a moment there. Back to the original.
15.
Making fun of the kid. Making fun of the kid. Okay, so you got freedom of speech
20.
and consequences. Okay, so this kid did his freedom of speech. He chose to make his freedom of speech his fit after getting fired for saying some stupid shit about Charlie Kirk. That was he exercised his right to free speech. There was nobody holding a gun to his head to say anything, any of these things. These were
time.
It's okay.
Time. Who's this? Who am I talking to? I can't tell who's who.
Hey, this
who's
is
next
Sauce.
to Move?
Don't matter
Who's next?
Whose picture is next to Moves?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that my picture right there?
Wait,
The
hold on,
vibrating one right now?
everybody. If you're not muted, all right, that's Josh. Josh is still muted. Sources
Yo.
muted. Doc, it's your turn.
All right. Um.
2 minutes.
About the video, I just think freedom of speech got a certain. It has a limitation, but when you make fun of someone deaf, there's consequences to everything. You know what I mean? Even with that freedom of speech thing, like Moo's situation, just he just said, you walk into a bar with full black people and you talk Ku Klux Klan stuff, something bound to happen to you. You know what I mean? Um, more bad things than good things to you. You know what I mean? So I do think that there is a limitation to what you say, but there's a freedom of what you could say and and what characteristic you use it, then that's a rabbit hole that anybody could go down and interpret it different ways. You know what I mean? But when you celebrate a man's death, that's totally different and disrespectful and untasteful. And if you represent a company and you do it on company time or whether you do it on non-company time, the ramifications behind it. Now getting fired, maybe not. Getting suspended, then getting disciplinary action, then maybe so. But there's gonna be legal ramifications behind that, somewhere down the line. To get back on the Jimmy Kimmel thing, um, I just think when you talk about certain people inside, a certain
30
culture,
seconds.
and I'm gonna talk about Israel. When you talk about Israel and you talk about them type of people, you put a spotlight on yourself to where you could get sucked into this web and get caught up in different things that could take you down a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down. You know what I mean? And I just think Jimmy Kimmel got caught by. I
10,
think the government snatched him up. You know what I mean? But we're gonna talk about that later on.
5. Thank you, brother.
No doubt.
Source,
Yo,
you got 2 minutes. 58:30,
2 minutes.
baby.
All right.
58:35.
So yeah, one of the things we got to pay attention to is that there's something called natural law. But we don't, that's just shit. That's just what accumulates after something happens, right? Um,
Right.
when you right. So natural law means anything you say naturally in the natural world. There's crazy people exist, and it all depends on how you situate yourself to maneuver through a reality that crazy people exist, right?
Right.
And when you stand in front of a crowd, that shit goes up in more numbers. When you go on the internet, even more, right? Some of us got um, names and ideograms and things like that that we keep around ourselves. Like I'm Source Being, I'm the Most High, like that's here, right? In other realms in the world, right? That you can't say that. That's what exists over there. That's the natural law is extreme over there. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But it exists everywhere. There's freedom to do the same. All the stuff in the Constitution, nobody can really take credit for creating that. That's not a creation of man. That's just what already occurs in reality. If you got limbs, you can say what you want. You're already bearing two arms, right? So it's just all that shit is just a mimicry of nature. So now that we get that out the way, now as far as America is concerned, you have the right to say what you want up until what you say becomes a threat or it impedes on somebody else's rights. You get what I'm saying?
5
So
seconds. Yeah.
the freedom to say whatever you want as long as the thing that you're saying is not impeding on somebody else's right, because now you get what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
And then there's also criteria for that, like is the speech in private or is the speech in public, right? So you could say things like, man, I want to do this to this agency or whatever, right?
Go ahead.
You have
Last
the
thought.
freedom to say that, but yeah,
Last
you
thought.
basically there's your freedom is capped until it's an actual threat to other people. So I don't think those people should be fired. But at the same token, private businesses have the right to fire people. Those people saying in their thing that they're a representative of those companies, if they're just using their own names and people are going and finding them and them getting them in trouble, I think that's a little bit extreme.
All right. Like, appreciate you, bro. Hold on. Damn, why? I wish I forgot how this shit works. Hold on. I'm fucking up. Hold on. All right, layout. Goddamn. All right, everybody. Cool. Josh, it's on you. 2 minutes.
You're what you call it. I basically feel like you reap what you sow. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's repercussions and consequences for everything that you do. You know what I mean? And regardless if there's freedom of speech, you know what I mean? There's moral grounds. I think moral grounds is like is more important than freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Like it's a human being that lost his life. You know what I mean? His life was taken, you know, and what you call
Yeah,
it to celebrate and then like it's a thing to celebrate, but then like you posting it where millions of people could see it. You know what I mean? Like you get
definitely.
you get what you know what I mean? Like you that's what you do, you know what I mean? You get that's what you get. You know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, you know? So
Basically, I ain't mad at you. Let me know if you're done. I mean, you still got a minute
yeah,
and a half.
I'm good. Yeah,
I mean, I
that's
meant
no, I mean, it's just like it's just it's common. It's common morals. You know what I mean? Like everybody know this. You know, like it's like who the ones who don't know this is the ones who wasn't raised right. You know what I mean? Like basically, yeah.
got you. Appreciate you, brother. Well, for me, I think they got what they deserve because I do agree with what Josh said. Yes, I don't think it's greater than freedom of speech because I do think you do have the right to say whatever you want. But like Saw said, these companies, if they can't jack what you're saying because they have to look out for the millions upon millions, if they're lucky enough, millions upon millions of customers, and a lot of them may be liberal. Who knows? You don't know what you know. You don't know the backlash or how much money it's going to cost you for, even if you agree, for saying it out loud for your company. So you do have to be quiet about these things. These people know this. They're all of them had jobs, it seemed like, where they were educated. So they should know the reds, even though you're allowed to do these things, they should know the red tape, and they should know the backlash that they're going to receive for doing these things because it happens to people with money. Like I'm just starting to kind of forgive Will Smith, and that was a slap in the face. That was a slap in the face. That's just a small, sample. So you sitting there, you laughing at, like, I ain't even know Charlie Kirk was out as long as Josh been listening to him. I ain't know. I caught him probably like 4 years later. And I was sitting there first, and I was amazed at this dude. I didn't know he was so young, though. I didn't. I mean, I was just sitting there waiting to hear something racist, to be honest with you. And I end up 5 years later, it's like I'm mourning this young dude's death, like as if he was a friend. But the first thing he said that I agreed with is high school is a scam. I mean, college is a scam mostly. If you're not being a doctor, really, I think that's the only thing you should have to go to college for. You got better lawyers in jail than you do on the street. I'm gonna wrap that up. I don't even know how long I was talking for, but I'm gonna wrap that up, and I'm gonna go on to the next joint. But I appreciate y'all, brothers. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Okay, now I do. Damn, I thought I had the camera pointed at me, but obviously I didn't. Um, if y'all know Brandon Tatum, this is a dude that's new to me too. I respect this dude.
This new development has come out, and this is just a communication between Robinson and a transgender roommate that he had. It says, "I'm still okay, love, but I'm sick or I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. Be honest, I was hoping to keep it a secret until I die of old age. I'm worried to involve you." It says, "You weren't the one who did it," which is the roommate asking. He said, "I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person," is what this roommate said. And he goes, "No, they grabbed some crazy old guy, then interrogated someone else with similar clothes. I was planning to grab the rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of the side of the town was locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there is one vehicle lingering." The roommate says, "Why? Why did I do it?" is what Robinson said. And the roommate says, "Yes." And then he goes on to say, "They had enough of the hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out," which means that he's saying, "I can't debate the guy, so I'm just going to try to kill the guy. If I'm able to grab the rifle unseen, I would have left no evidence. Dummy, which he's dumb because he left a ton of evidence. He has no idea how much evidence he leaves because these people don't know nothing. Thank God. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they move on. I've seen or I haven't seen anything about them finding up the spot, but I don't want to take a chance. And then Robinson goes on to say, I'm wishing that I had circled
My
back
fault,
to grab
y'all.
it. They move on. I've seen or I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this? What the roommate said. This is what Robinson responded to. A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to take a chance. And then Robinson goes on to say, I'm wishing that I had circled grab it as soon as I got my vehicle. I'm worried that my old man, what he would do if I don't bring my grandpa's rifle back, if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about the prints that I had to leave in the bushes where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope that they find it or they don't find prints. How in the F will I explain losing it to my old man? And then he's talking about the rifle. No care of Charlie, no remorse, no nothing. And he says, only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? Question mark. It says the effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke already. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. And Robinson said to beat this exchange. And he goes on to say that my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me right now. No answering. Or not answering is what he said. Since Grandpa got into office, or since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about love, is what he said to the transgender person. Then the person responded and said, I'm much more worried about you. And then he goes on to say, and it's the last message that I have. It says, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. It's what this fool said. This new development has come out, and this is just a communication between Robinson and a transgender.
Hold on. Moves, go ahead.
Yo, dude, right off the bat, this shit sounds like passports that were found at 9/11. You guys follow me? This shit. I'm sorry, man. You know what? I hate to go from the conservative Republican or whatever, man. But dude, to straight tinfoil hat type of shit. But dude, there were some things that just absolutely unbelievable in the letter itself. The timing of the letter, the rifles that they supposedly recovered. It was this old Mauser that can't be broken down. Somehow he jammed this thing down his leg. There are all kinds of reenactments that gun enthusiasts have been trying to react, and they're like, there's no way he climbed down because they would show the video of him climbing off the rooftop, and you know he's got the rifle wrapped around it in a towel or some shit. Yeah, there's just stuff that just isn't adding up. Just like 9/11.
Matlock would have made this shit look stupid at the pre-trial.
Absolutely.
He would have exposed it from the bottom up to the top with just pure movie script lawyer shit.
No, dude. No. It wouldn't have been Matlock. It would have been Mr. Tibbs, man. It would have been Mr. Tibbs, bro.
What the fuck, yo? Like, this shit is ridiculous, man.
25 seconds.
I don't know. I'm straight on that. That's my whole, you know.
Oh, you're good.
Okay. One last little tidbit was the interview that he had with Morgan
Pierce.
No, not Morgan Pierce. It was her name. I forgot her fucking name. But anyways, he was in an interview, and he was talking about receiving money from a particular Middle Eastern country that's about the size of New Jersey, that's currently in a civil war with in a place called that rhymes with Haza, and he was considering receiving funds from them. And he started asking questions like, why is it that this country that is the size of New Jersey have a 6-hour delay in responding to the October 7th attack? Was there a stand down order, or was what Charlie asked? Now that's a fucking dangerous question to be asking, on a public platform. And that was one of the last things that he had said, and so this was, some irons in the fire, because a lot of Republicans, including myself, unfortunately, in this conversation, but a lot of Republicans were considering that Charlie was going to be earmarked for maybe the next presidency because of his stance on God, because of his stance on the Constitution, etc. It was like untouchable. Even like he blew, honestly, dude, he would have blown Trump out of the water. So
we gotta wrap
either
it
way.
up.
Yeah, sorry, man. Go ahead, man.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I'm on that, man. Conspiracy.
Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah. What was the video about? Damn, we just but yeah,
The Brandon
I
said
just
the letter, the text message.
yeah. The text message, that's red flag all through that letter right there, man. That's a 22-year-old talking to a transgender. Forget that it's a transgender, but that's a 22-year-old talking, bro. Like he's not using the words that he's using on that right there. You know what I mean? Um, that whole conversation, there's no timestamp on it. I heard that the conversations was deleted. Um, like it's so much messes and discord with what's going on with that thing over there, man. Um, and the goal, and again, I just think that he could have been the dude that is accused for being assassin. I think that he was used as a pawn for other other means of Charlie Kirk demise. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I just think this letter is just trying to put the man time and place together, but
Yeah,
um
motive.
the people that we got running the FBI is not going to be able to put this puzzle together for the American people to believe, because the people that's running the FBI is not competent. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to leave it as that.
I appreciate you, bro. Zay. I appreciate you, Aaron. Sauce.
Yo, man, anything is possible, man. It could be Charlie Kirk boyfriend. Who knows? The whole shit is just weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be anything, bro. Like, it could, you know what I mean? Like, maybe his wife set him up, and so she could like get with what you call this character, the vice president and her got a secret relationship. Who knows? Yo, he could be really like. I saw a conspiracy theory where they said he jumped in a hole in the ground and they moved the dummy to the car, and he in an island called Valhalla, and that's what.
Well, they did cement that ground, though.
And they say here in Valhalla, because there's a real place called Valhalla somewhere over there, like north of Europe somewhere, right? Like yo, here in Valhalla. Who knows, man? But yo, it could just be, like just for what it is though. It looks like was, Charlie Kirk was a dreamy young man with aspirations that was not fitting the people who sponsored him. Period. And that's just what happened. Because if Charlie Kirk was really authentically backed up, he would have been protected.
Yeah,
Facts, facts.
yeah, I can. Yo, go ahead, Josh.
Was good. Yeah, what
Yeah,
you call it? I don't know, man. There's a whole bunch of like theories and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I've been really paying attention to Candace Owens. You know what I mean? And I really feel like she's
Facts,
on.
facts, facts,
But I
facts.
really feel like she's on to something. You know what I mean? Like what you call it? Like he was really making a lot of enemies with a lot of stuff that he was saying on, and he was like really making a lot of enemies, and it could have been anyone, but I think like the main person is like, I don't even want to say it because I don't even want to put myself out there, like
right,
real
right,
quick,
right. Don't,
you
don't.
know what I mean? But like if you've been paying attention to Candace Owens, you know what I mean. Like she'll basically jot it down for you. You know.
Yo, can I say it, man? Can I say it, please? Can I say it? Can I say it, bro? I'm tired, bro. I'm gonna tell you why I'm mad, bro.
Yeah,
That
2 minutes is
Netanyahu
up, man.
dude,
We're
bro.
gonna keep it
That
going.
Israel dude, he did that, bro. Now, allegedly, they saying that he had something to do with it, and he went on record saying that he had nothing to do with it. But I'm gonna let you get your minutes, bro.
Nah, but yeah, oh yeah, nah, yeah.
Go ahead. You still got a minute.
Nah, but what you call it? Yeah, that's who I thought it was before Candace even came out and said it. You know what I mean? Because he was getting real deep into that topic, and I feel like he was playing like a dangerous game by doing that. You know what I mean? Because like we all know that they run the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if people got to get it from that. If they don't know, that means they got their head in the sand. But go ahead, brother. You still got 30 seconds.
Yeah, so what you call it, like basically you just gotta be careful with who you make enemies with. You know what I mean? Because like they're real swift with their work, and especially if they run the media. You know what I mean? If they like if you can't play that game like that. You can't live careless the way he was living careless if you playing a dangerous game like that. And then the money that they was talking at that too. You know what I mean? So I feel like he was a real smart man, but when it came to like
Got no internet connection.
his protection, I feel like he was real careless on that. You know what I mean? Like yes, you God is your protector, but you need a physical protection down here. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's a fact, bro.
Hey, you know what? Too. Oh, pardon me. I think a lot of these guys they don't realize when you doing that kind of stuff, when you making political statements against countries and organizations and corporations, your protection can't be such and such security guard incorporated that you don't know nobody, it ain't nobody your uncle put you on to. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that, you need to live with your security. It can't be dudes that gotta clock out and they drive like 2 miles away from 20 miles away from where the fuck base is at. You know what I'm saying? Like base of operation. It's like I don't
Nah,
know,
facts.
man. It seems like he hired security guards that had details for nations and shit. Like how your security guard worked with NATO or worked with Israel before you trust that nigga.
But source
And you out here
that
talking shit.
source that asks the question then, because here we
Wait,
are,
hold on.
we're on the internet, right? But
Yo,
let me interject for a second, okay? Because I
no, we're
agree with
gonna
him.
keep it
I
and
agree
we're
with
gonna
him. I
go.
agree with him, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
important. It's really important. The here we are. We're just laymen. We're here. We are on the internet, speaking our minds and that kind of thing. And does that mean we fucking as Americans that are protected under the First Amendment that we got to watch what we fucking say? Do we need a security? Can we walk around as free Americans at a source? And I've been on the show showing my face before too. Everybody
I'm
knows what
protected by
you know
what
what I'm
I'm
saying.
willing to
You
keep.
have
Like,
a following
All
like
that other
Charlie
shit.
Kirk, yes.
no, I
You
that's
have you
I
gotta be
disagree with that.
careful.
I think this is why I disagree, or this is why I agree with Source. I don't think that we should live in a land, or we should have a land where somebody just simply spouting off and debating ends up getting capped off, whether it costs
But
$1 or
but
whether it
but
costs a
that's when
million.
you have a country that's compromised with dual citizenship. You know what I mean? You got this country compromised with people that's compromised with Israel, and
Hey, you copy that?
their interest
Well, hold on.
their interest the trump of the interest would be Israel over America any day, bro.
All right. All right. Um, it's I got my little 2 minutes. Thank you. Going forward, you're supposed to save it for after to have
My
the
bad.
rebuttals after, because I want to get through these videos. You're supposed to save all of that. Can we please not cut nobody else off anymore? You're supposed to save all of this for after. If you have a feeling, you're supposed to write it down, save it for later. I want to get through these videos. I want to go. I have an order I wanted to go in, and I want to continue that. We're gonna save everything for the after, because there's gonna be plenty of time. I just run through these. Once I run through these joints, it's over. I only want to run through like 5 because I want to get to where we going back and forth. I want to get to the battles. So let's not cut each other off. Let's do the 2 minutes per video so we can get around the horn and we can get to really what we want to do, and that's box each other mentally. Please, fellas. Thank you. All right, I'm moving off from Charlie Kirk right now. I know everybody heard about the young lady in North Carolina who got deleted, sadly, very sadly. And I want to know from what you're about to hear, because it's satire, but what you're gonna hear is how it really, really, really happened. And that's how I agree with this media take right here. It's sad. Rest in peace to the lady Irina. I can't remember her. Irina Zaruska, I believe her name is. Rest in peace.
Rachel, a black man stabbed a white female refugee from Ukraine for no reason. And now people think it was somehow racially motivated because he said, "I got that white girl." That makes no sense, Brian. Do people not understand this man is a victim because he's black? You're exactly right, Rachel. This man is a victim. In fact, he's been a victim 14 times. Luckily, every time there was an incident, the courts felt bad because he's black and let him go. Now social media is trying to paint him as some kind of vicious killer just because he's black. Oh, please. That woman must have done something to provoke him, right? Well, obviously, Rachel, she's white. It's pretty hard to tell in the video. She appears to just be sitting there minding her own business, not doing anything at all. But then I saw she's wearing a hat. So I'm thinking the back of her hat must have said the N-word or something. Ooh, I think you're right, Brian. That must be why the victim felt scared and attacked her. There's only one way to know for sure. We have to speak to an expert on victims. There's only one man alive who could prove we're correct. So you think you can help us identify what was on that woman's hat, Jussie? Of course I can. I'm Jussie Smollett. Nobody knows victims better than I do. I'm actually glad you came to me because I did a little research before you got here. It's clear that this woman provoked her victim attacker, but it's not because of what was on her hat. Then what was it? You should prepare yourselves. The answer is far worse than you could ever possibly imagine. That black man was provoked because hundreds of years ago white people had slaves. Oh my god, no wonder the victim was so violent. That woman was white and white people had slaves a long time ago. Rachel, I think we have what we're looking for. Rachel, a black man stabbed a white female refugee from Ukraine for no reason. And now people think it was somehow
What do you feel on that moves? 2 minutes, brother.
Oh yeah. Well, when I first saw this, I thought it was amusing because it's supposed to be amusing, and at the same time, like I've got black friends and family, and I think to myself like how the politics of the Obama era kind of grew some sort of animosity towards white folks, and it not only grew this animosity towards white folks, but now that we're in a situation where Trump is in office and there are supposedly like white changes taking place, a joke like this now can agitate. And I'm not saying that all black folks feel like this, but the black folks that are literally tired of white folks, that white folks are the absolute source of all the black woes in America now and forever, and they will be forever if
That's
something
not
is
just
done.
racist. Just say racist black people because that shit does exist. That shit
Yeah,
does.
but I want to kind of be specific about it. But like it's not my skin, so it's not my culture. But in my objective observation as an American that looks at black folks as Americans, it doesn't matter his skin; it's the activity of this, the person behind it, and
Right.
But with those people that are involved, that are exhausted of the white folks, a joke like this is a spit in the face. So yeah, it's. I noticed a lot of satire nowadays is really politically angled towards sticking it in and breaking it off, so to speak, or hitting somebody with both barrels, or trying to like at South Park their own kind of meme into existence. And I don't believe it's gonna help. I don't. Do I find it amusing because like I like jokes. I've watched comedians and I like comedy. Yeah, it's music to that degree. But beyond that, it's there politically to amplify or agitate black and brown voters or non-white voters for that matter.
Final thought.
So yeah, yeah, that's basically it. I think it's amusements like this, like I don't know, but then again, the freaking bee is fucking funny too. But anyway, yeah, that's after this little skit here. I don't think it took much thought to throw it together, and does it have punchlines? Yeah, the setups are kind of iffy, but yeah, not very good.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Hold up. Moves. One question. Just give me one word before we move on to Doc. Just give me one word. Crazy or racist? The man.
The man.
Yeah, the attacker. Was he crazy or was he racist? Your opinion.
Anybody who attacks anybody is racist. Or no, I'm sorry, it's crazy.
No, you good. You good.
Crazy,
You're racist.
crazy,
No,
crazy.
cool.
No.
Doc, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go off what you asked moved at the end of the thing. I think mentally, dude was sick in the head. I don't know his background. I just know the premise of the story that what I mean, the young lady got deleted on the train. Dude just walked up. We all seen the video. Um, excuse me. And it just was kind of wild how it happened because I didn't know what he did at first. You know what I mean? I know he did something, but I didn't know what he did. And I had to watch it again and see everything that transpired. But I just do think mental sickness is out there, especially on public transportation. Definitely out there in the public. You know what I mean? Because there's resources that have been snatched away by the different administrations that been that been in power that take away from these resources. So I just think that more resources need to be altercated in that way. So mental
Allocated.
awareness could be allocated that way. So that way mental awareness could be studied and helped. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for that lady family and her. You know what I mean? She didn't have to lose her life like that. You coming from work. You on the train minding your business, probably listening to some music. You trying to delete you trying to mute out everything that's going on around you and look what happened, and that's crazy. So um that's how I feel
1
about
minute.
it. That's how I feel
You
about it. You
good?
go ahead and yeah,
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
no doubt
Yeah.
about it.
You said he was what? Crazy or
Crazy.
racist?
Crazy.
Crazy. All right. Appreciate you, bro. Sauce.
Yep. Yeah, that nigga
How you
crazy,
feel about
man.
that?
I have a lot of feedback. When I saw that, did she sit down by the nigga? Like, was he sitting there and then she came and sat in front of him and then he got up and stabbed her, or was it like she was sitting down and then he crept up behind her and stabbed her?
I
I,
can't.
I think I think she sat down after him. I think he was sitting down already. She and sat down.
Yeah, yeah. Because my initial thought was like, because remember how I said Karens be chicks that usually like the dudes they're arguing with, but dudes don't know how to read because politics, semantics, whatever, right? Um, I think she thought he was a nigga that was gonna talk to her, and she read him wrong. That's one thing. So it's like two subject matters. There, you got to bring in the manosphere and and the
Yeah,
and the
that's a
racially
awesome
conscious
perspective, bro.
paradigm.
That's a good perspective. That's a good perspective, bro. Yeah, my fault. I add the seconds that I take away,
She
or
was
somebody else.
lusting. That's how the first time I saw the video. And one thing to note is there are different versions of the videos because people are making like AI versions of it, right? So that's why I wanted to know because I don't know which one I saw first. I
I think I
saw
saw
a girl.
why nah, that shit is too disturbed. I don't like seeing shit like that.
She
I'm
got
supposed
up.
to be this whatever what do you call that shit when you I'm supposed to be what do you call that shit, the word where you hate men, all of a sudden everybody's fucking damn, I forgot that fucking word. Not narcissist. But when you hate misogynist, there you go. I'm supposed to be this misogynist. I can't watch no brutal shit like that. Like more than once. I'm good, bro.
That shit
I'm
fucked
good.
me up too because she looked like a good mate, man. You know, she looked like they could have made a nice baby. They could have made a nice baby together.
You
Here come
silly.
this dumb nigga
I felt some
being
type
a
of way
fucking
because that got a
hater.
Ukraine,
Please,
you know what I
bro,
mean,
please.
baby mom
Yeah,
that
man.
that could ride the
He just killed
train and stuff of that nature.
Bro.
a beautiful
Right
specimen. You
now,
could have made
bro.
a golden baby with her and shit. You know what I'm saying? This nigga killing the golden race and shit before it even
In 30,
started.
30 seconds.
Inbred. He an inbred. I wanted to tell y'all he an inbred. I put that more over racism and crazy. He a fucking inbred. That's what he is. And racism is just the avenue or the frequency that peaked inside of him. Because there's many frequencies that people use to murder people with. You know what I'm saying? Racism is just the one that he tuned into too much,
10 seconds.
and that's what happened. Yeah,
Appreciate you, bro, Zay. Yo, Josh,
he could have changed
we
his
got
life
thank
with
you for
that
one
one.
more video.
Yo,
Hold up, am I
Nigga
fucking with
killed
you?
his future.
Go
Stupid
ahead.
nigga killed his own future.
yo, what's good?
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah. We was talking about that. The video.
He probably
Yeah,
Oh,
frustrated
yeah.
because them pro black chicks that he was hanging out with a few days earlier got him all amped up and shit, and they ain't give him no pussy. So he lashed out at the one that was gonna give it to him, like a moron. He couldn't handle it. She was gonna give him
All right.
pussy, and he just a white bitch and freaked out. Stupid ass nigga. I'm telling.
Nah, that's it. Yo, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, what you call it? Honestly, I feel like he shouldn't have been out in the first place. You know what I mean? 14 offenses, you know, what you call it,
Okay, I thought
honestly,
you were talking about
the
the
way
woman, bro. I was about to say, I know Josh didn't just say that woman shouldn't have been outside.
no, I'm saying he
Well, no,
shouldn't
I
have.
got what you said when you said the 14 offenses. Nah, my bad, my bad. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, what you call
But
it?
she shouldn't.
Yeah, I think that, like, honestly, like he was a plant. You know what I mean? Like, it just so happened that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what I mean? And but I honestly feel like he was a plant because the one thing to get everybody riled up is the race card. You know what I mean? That's one they've been using that for years and it works, so they're gonna keep on using it. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate that it had to be that young lady. You know what I mean? It's really messed up because, like, it's not like the height, like how the cartoon try to say, oh, the system felt bad for him because he was black. Everybody knows that ain't fucking true because the system is that's the last thing they feel bad for. You know what I mean? So
Right.
what you
Hit
call
that
it?
like button.
They use the race card to get everybody riled up because they know it works. So if it works, they work it. You know what I mean? And we got to stop letting them use that shit against us because, like, it's bigger than that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they trying to distract us. They these motherfuckers are magicians. You know, like they do something with their left hand and they distracting you with their right hand. You know, like that's the way it is. You know, and you just gotta pay
30
attention.
seconds.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But good. Appreciate you, brother. Yo,
yeah.
I ain't gonna front. That shit is like one of the most tragic shit. And after y'all put y'all 2 cents apiece in, y'all made me think even more now. Even after asking the question, like seeing the video again and hearing crazy or racist, I do think it might be some of both. Because his words were, I got a white one" or something like that. I believe it was, "I got a white one," and that right there, that's racial right there. And I don't know what she did. I don't know. Even if she stuck her tongue out at him, she didn't deserve to not go home. That much I can sit here and say about that. That shit is sad. And I don't even think that woman was American. So if she looked like she was
Yo,
knowing something, maybe she didn't know. I don't know. I'm not giving her no excuse.
can
I'm
I
just saying she
can I
will
say
be here.
one thing? Like she probably put her tongue out at him while she was walking towards him to let him know she was like into him, and then she sat in front of him because shit, the way it played out, that's the type of shit that I have a number and now I have a
You
mixed
had some
baby.
freak You on some freak town,
She's
bro.
supposed to still be
Like,
home. She's supposed to still go home regardless.
Yeah. I know that. I'm just saying, like because you go, there's people out there with white daughters, so you still got to defend your white daughters and shit. Like you got to use common sense. Like if you're gonna go and flirt with people you don't understand, you got to use some kind of common sense. Like sit
she
away.
was flirting.
Like if
Nobody
he
said
like you,
she was flirting. Why are you still on that flirting time? Like nobody said she was flirting. You still on that flirting time? Like that's
because the bus was empty. That's why
Ain't
the
nobody
bus
said
was
that.
empty.
Hold
You
on,
the one that came up with that scenario.
Fellas,
That's
hold on.
crazy.
We gonna say that one because that feels spirited. And just to let y'all know, this is the last video,
Yeah, that's
so you
good.
might want to get your pens ready. Get your pens ready. This the last one because I ain't gonna front. I am waiting for the fucking heavyweight bout at the end. That's what it was all for. I just wanted to get through these videos. I felt that y'all intelligent. Y'all intelligent. No. But y'all motherfuckers are intelligent. That's why I keep on asking y'all. That's why I keep doing this. No matter how out of control it get, I still keep because motherfuckers have different points of views and they're intelligent. And you can, even if you don't agree with it, you can understand at least like, okay, I understand why he feels that way. I get it. But I just wanted to run through these, and then at the end, now it's going to be not a free fall because I still want the people that are getting called out against each other, myself included, to have their time to talk. I want people to be able to talk, everybody to get time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go left and right. I want to stay on point. Now,
hold on. Let me just mention this real quick before you start that video.
Go ahead, bro.
Just in the back chat, I just want you. We want to put this out there. So it's being said there was a video going around saying she was using another casualty story a few years back in Ukraine. That's crazy, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, just think about that as we go on from to the next video. And
Yo, fellas, I know y'all could see the private chat, right? It's a way y'all could chat without having to say it out loud or whatever. If you want to say something like, I gotta go for a second, or whatever. It's a private chat. You say what you gotta say. That is for all of us, not just me. But here it goes. There's my girl. We're gonna talk about the Hamptons.
Conscience about what happened at the Hamptons.
Hold on.
BB
That's not right. There we go.
BB Netanyahu and that phone call, what took place was a couple of weeks ago before Charlie lost his life. Charlie was in the Hamptons. He had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged by Bill Ackman. Because Charlie's rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no. This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends, his quote-unquote friends. Bill Ackman was very upset, and threats were made. He was asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you, and he did not provide the receipts. It was at this time that Bibi Netanyahu was called, and Charlie was invited to Israel. This was an under duress situation, I would say. And I know that Charlie was offered a ton of money in this moment. Turning Point, I guess, if it needs to go to a higher level, would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at. And I know for a fact that Charlie denied that funding. That Charlie denied, and what Bibi didn't include there, he declined to go to Israel for, I would describe this as like, re-education camp. We've seen it. You made an uh-oh, but we can help you. Another person that was there, and I am not surprised this person was there if you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon. I said, any comment on this one, Seth? He didn't answer last night. This morning I said, need a comment ASAP, please. He didn't answer. Then I followed that up and I said, trying again here, you were present when Ackman lost his mind on Charlie and when Bibi invited him to Israel and Charlie refused. Text messages immediately following this meeting are circulating. I find Ackman's statement, as though the meeting was somehow cordial, to be incredibly disturbing. Are you at all disturbed by that tweet? Do you feel, as I do, that this tweet significantly betrays the defined purpose and mood of his, and I presume, your final meeting with Charlie Kirk? Question mark. He was unable to speak to me, but he did place some frantic calls to Turning Point USA. Yeah. You see, I went out to Seth, but I also went out to two other people who were at this meeting, and nobody is willing to go on record. They're all messaging each other, trying to figure out a coordinated response to say that, no, this was all quite cordial, but no one wants to go on record and describe it as cordial because they know someone's leaking, because someone's got a guilty conscience about what happened at the Hamptons.
Love you, Candace. Moves, how do you feel? Y'all was speaking something on Israel and, cover-ups and, plots.
Well, when it comes to Candace, I don't doubt much of what she says, considering she's got the president of France's wife willing to take pictures of her vagina to prove that she's not a man. She didn't capitulate. She didn't capitulate to a cheek swab, a blood test, fingerprint, whatever, man.
They're trying to say that he trying to pass off his sister as himself.
Dude is like gotta be like a luggage man.
Nah, anyway, go ahead, brother.
But as far as that, like I said before, man, the recent interviews with Charlie showed an awareness and a wariness of his interactions with people in Israeli business. Yeah,
right.
And
there you go. I like that.
Well, what do you want? I mean, it's like, dude, it was this current concern. And there was nothing that, and it's funny because like all the oddness came out after Charlie had passed away with BB's. I think he posted something on X with a picture of him and BB and Israel, and that's when Kirk revealed on the Candace Owens show that Israel was the size of Germany or size of Jersey, and he could take a helicopter flight from one end to the other in like 45 minutes. Why did it take? Yeah, why did it take anywhere between 6 and 8 hours to delay some? In some parts, it was like 20 hours. So, like, the obvious question was there a stand-on order? So, yeah, that's my take on it. But my only take is what I last saw Charlie talking about. So, yeah.
Go ahead. Oh wait, who's missing? All right, go ahead. Yellow tape. Josh will be back. Josh, come back. Let me see if he's here.
I just want to say I am in no way, shape, or form in no threat in a way to think suicidal or anything. So if anything happened to me, bro, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You already know.
I mean, let's get the bullshit off hand. Turning point of what is called Turning Point of America.
Turning Point USA.
Turning Point USA, excuse me. They got offered $150 million from BB. You know what I mean? He also got offered to go to Israel 2 times by BB and got shot down by BB by Charlie Kirk twice. He was like, "Nah, I'm not going. I don't believe in everything that you talking about. So I'm not gonna, portray that image." So, and he ain't saying that word, but that's why he declined it in a sense. He's for America, you know what I mean? He's for the Constitution. He stands for a Christian. He don't say that, that they don't have the same interest, him and BB, but they do, you know what I mean? But he wanted to focus on America. And I just think that this was put into his demise had something to do with that. You know what I mean? Just happened that this 22-year-old got caught up in it through the web, and it's just crazy that how society works. And if you speak against the high beings, you just gotta watch your back.
That's a fact. You done, brother?
Yep.
Who's next? Sauce. Sauce?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah. What was the question?
It was about the video. How do you feel about what
Oh,
she was saying about Charlie Kirk and Israel and basically
yeah.
seeming like a plot or something like that?
I saw my wife was watching that with Candace Owens breaking it down. Um, I, I mean, I think Candace Owens is a good reporter in the sense that she digs up for information and asks good questions. There's, I mean, yeah, of course, we know what the fuck is going on already. I mean, we're not like disconnected from source, right? So, some very important people wanted him dead or his image dead, whether he's really dead or not. If you're not in proximity with your five senses to that situation, it's all speculation, right? And
Right.
to speculate as close as we can to what based on the metrics that we receive. Here's what we could see. Here's what happened. Okay. Yeah, it seems like the story or the narrative is that's being drawn in our brains based on the information projected that there's a hidden hand of big nosed, small headed people in Israel called Jews that are basically doing this stuff. And they wanted him dead, and it's convenient for him to be dead because he's
45.
getting ready to drive young Americans into this space where um, you know it was America first and not Israel or whatever else first. You know what I mean? So I mean that's just the obvious story. That's the plot. I feel like when you can figure it out, that and it's not really the story. It's just usually just space and time just playing with your mind. But
Right.
yeah.
Appreciate you, brother.
So once you
Yo,
know,
Josh,
You
did you get to see the video?
with Candace?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, how do you
yeah,
feel about the situation? You think there was a plot, there's a setup? I know we were speaking about it about the last round and
right,
possibly speak about it again when we do our lightning round.
right.
But what are your feelings on that? Or if any,
Uh,
if any.
um, honestly, I feel like that's man, like I just found out today that the Jewish people now that claim to be Jewish is actually like family to Rothschild or something like that, and it's just like a whole bunch of theories, you know what I mean? A whole bunch of conspiracy theories and all of this, you know what I mean? And like honestly, I feel like they've been they're running the world, and honestly, the way the world is going right now is an evil route. So they're not running it right, you know what I mean? And there has to be a change, honestly.
Now, should appreciate you, bro. Now, before we get into our thunder round, lightning and thunder round, um shit. If Candace Owens now, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, they seem like they were siblings on the low. Same values, same views. It's like that woman is about to be, I don't know what reporter, she about to be April O'Neil, because they just destroyed Leonardo. You know what I mean? She's about to be April O'Neil. She about to go be up everybody's ass with a microscope. Everywhere she has to be careful to be honest with you. She makes a lot of public appearances. She's very intelligent and pretty, and she needs to watch herself. And if she's going to be going behind it, she's going to go behind it with intelligence and a ferocity that knows no bounds. So whatever's going on, she's going to get to the bottom of it. And if
can
something
I
happens,
They
piggyback?
try inviting
that'll
her
be
to the
found.
memorial, to the Charlie Kirk memorial. They want her to be out in public for a reason. She has to like be more cautious than Charlie was.
Well, most definitely. But I'm saying, when I'm saying my last statement, if we would know if something happens to her. We already know. An attempt, if she falls down the wrong way, we know she done found something. That's a fact. Cause people don't like they business, people don't like nobody in your business. Big business,
But yo,
especially.
can I
Especially
can I
people with morals.
interject something?
Go
Can I
ahead.
interject something? Because y'all know my stance is always that everything politically wrong or fucked up with the world is about inbreds, right? And I think people need to mix up a little more. But here's why Candace Owens is a good example of how power play when you mix up the dynamics of people, right? Because of who she is image wise, right? It gives her husband a clean slate to finance and back certain opinions and things that he be always thinking, but he can't do as a white man without having the heat on him. You feel me? Like, yeah, like Candace Owens couldn't be a white woman doing what she's doing right now and not have either people light up her husband or her family or herself. At this rate, she already done exposed all kinds of other shit. It's not just we're just in the current space right now. You know what I'm saying? She built a career for doing this type of shit. So I'm just saying, like certain
Matter of
things
fact, hold on.
proves my
Hold on. Time
stance.
out. Time out.
Like
Wait, hold on. Time
it's a
out.
power play.
Matter of fact, everybody else be quiet. It's me versus Sauce. Go ahead, Sauce.
Yeah,
It's me versus you right now. We got 3 minutes to
yeah.
get it on. Pause. Go ahead.
Well, I
With this
like when they
Candace Owens.
scraping and
She's a
scrambling.
puppet.
Yeah, I think Candace Owens' position being a black woman married to a white man, right?
Right.
Um, she integrated white values, but then also have the stamina to argue and debate the shit out of you like a black woman. So
Right.
and then also, don't matter how much certain black people in America say, "Oh, Candace Owens is a coon." She's kind of untouchable because it's like there's like a "Oh, you better not, I dare you touch her" type of attitude. Like
You think
she
she's a
knows
coon?
that. She's nobody thinks she's. I don't think she's a coon. I think that I know that stupid niggas think that, but also that's just inter-house argument. She's like the smart sister that that made it, and that's just what it really is, right? And the making it is not just a matter of well because she's with a white. She really is a smart person, and she is a good talking piece, and she can dig for information and shit. Like she knows how to back up her sources, and she knows how to refine information and validate it and all that, right? And she knows how to stay alive while doing it. She's not stupid. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with
She's
that.
a real black American woman. She comes with all. She had to defend herself from black people opinions. She had to defend herself from other white people. I mean, she got a strong brain, period. However you want to look at it, however you want to cut it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with that because Candace Owens is one of the smartest women I've seen. I'm just gonna address the puppet part because I basically agree with you with everything and most of everything else you said about her. So the puppet part,
Yeah.
I think she thinks for herself. I think, like you said, like maybe her man now may have a pass to get away with her husband. Excuse me, has a pass to get away with certain things that he wouldn't normally be able to say. We got 1 minute left, and yeah. But on the other hand, see, it's not like it's not possible. But for me, that percentage of it being possible, I say it's 85-15. I think she's her own woman. And I think, as you said, she's very intelligent. She has a very great mind. She's a great debater, and she's conservative and a Republican. Shout out to the Black Republicans.
But on a biological spectrum, this is
30
what I'm
seconds.
saying. A
Yo,
black
just for
woman
the
like
record,
Candace
just for
Owens.
the record, hold on, just for the record, my lights is blinking inside my motherfucking house, nigga. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, uh,
Enough show.
on a psychological biological spectrum, like Owens
30 seconds.
have that. She exudes what most black men are familiar with. A black woman who wants to do her own thing and can speak for herself. That combination is perfect for a white man because if you really check out a white man, he don't want a robot. He want somebody that can do a whole bunch of shit too, right? Black men want robots. That's the truth about why we have. It's like Our natures are designed for the woman that the other person has. So I just wanted to point that out. So anyway, like yeah, Candace Owens, I'm taking this opportunity to point that out. Candace Owens is perfect for a white man who's ambitious and actually wants to play in the world of tomorrow. If you just want to play in the world of okay, I have a job, I'm fine, I'm in this circulatory bubble, get a job, work,
Final
watch
thought.
my kids graduate, do the same shit, then I'm okay. Let me just make an inbred. But if you're trying to play in the world of what tomorrow is to come and that golden society that people know exists, that we all dream about, that's in our DNA, you have to combine people. And so Candace Owens is a good example. Her and her husband is a good example, and they're untouchable as far as I'm concerned because I'm Source B. So you know,
Appreciate you, Brody. Appreciate you. Now, anybody else want a piece of whoever? Pause. Like anybody got a rebuttal for Source being myself? Yo, Doc, are you okay? Oh, come on now. It ain't even Halloween yet.
I know, right?
Doc, you good? Yellow. Well, folks, tune in. It might be the first snuff film ever to be done live on YouTube. Michael
Easy.
Myers. Michael Myers seems to be in Doc's house. He
Bro, I
need
told
somebody
her
to
not to
call.
say that. I told her not to say not to say the name.
Yeah.
Told her not to say
Yo,
the
but hold on, yo, you need us to call the police or some shit? You
Yo, I stepped away. My bad, yo.
I
Decker.
like it when they scraping and scrambling. You know,
Yo,
I
I
Daddy,
love it.
appreciate,
Yeah,
I appreciate the
I love
love,
it,
though.
Daddy.
I love
but
when you
my but
scramble
but
and
my
scrape
lights was flickering though. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. That's why I said something and cut y'all off. My lights was flickering. I'm like, what the fuck is going
Yo,
on?
CeeLo,
Smokey over
bro.
here taking a shit.
Yo,
Nah. I was like,
yo,
yo,
CeeLo,
this
I'm over
nigga.
here like this nigga not answering, yo.
Nigga talk about the lights flickering. Nigga, that's the scent.
Nigga said the
Nah.
light flickered and then went mute. That's the bullshit. The light
Yeah,
flickered,
that
yo.
was the bull. That was the bullshit. But yo, let me just talk to myself, and then y'all can rebuttal about what I want to say. You know what I mean?
Guys, you
Um,
got shit. You hold on. I'm gonna try to see if I know how to do this shit, man. I don't know why. I want to get. If you're gonna be by yourself, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can put you
you
up
got
by yourself
you got a
for
chicken on.
3 minutes.
Oh, it's mine.
Man, fuck it. You got 3 minutes. I'm just gonna mute everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the people would talk. I mean, but I just
Nah,
feel that
you got 3 minutes, nigga.
we also gotta recognize with what was going on prior to to Charlie Kirk getting demise. You know what I mean? Um, the Epstein list was being asked about. You know what I mean? Um, and we just you know that we got put to the side with that a million times by the administration that promised to give us that for whatever reason. Um, we got to also remember that even though Charlie Kirk wasn't, a political person, he had, the young crowd that made political, that was doing political things, or and would go out there and vote, I should say. But we also got to remember that Democrats, and I'm not a, I'm a Democrat as far as if you want to split it,
Affiliation, bro. You're more
you know what I
conservative. You
mean?
could be a conservative Democrat,
Yo,
bro.
not to go off topic, yo, but there's some like crazy shit that is like in the air right now. What you call it? Who's out in where I'm at?
Where you Kentucky.
Boom.
Yeah.
Moves.
Moose, you could go outside and see if you see the same shit. There's like some golden glowing shit that's in the sky, yo.
Hold on, I'll be right
So
back.
why don't y'all do 3 minutes? One on one. Pause.
Word, right, word. I could take over the time. But yeah, yeah. I mean, y'all can interrupt me
Yeah, y'all got
whenever
three
y'all
minutes.
see it. Um, but I also think that that Democrats got assassinated too. The wife and the husband There's a lot of political inclined violence going on. You know what I mean? Whether what side you on, they just happen to come from the Republican side now, or the conservative side, whatever the case may be. Um, but we gotta remember that doesn't matter what side you're on. January 6th happened. You know what I mean? Whether what side you look at it, was it enticed or was it invited in, or whatever the case may be, they almost chased down. They chanted for the vice president head at the time. You know what I mean? And that wasn't something that we said. I mean, that wasn't freedom of speech. I don't think that was. They caught that guy. He would have been hurt, and he also feared for his life. You know what I mean? Because they had him
3
hiding.
more minutes.
So I just feel
Right,
that we
right,
have
sir.
to look at what's going on in the backdrop and not what's so much in the forefront, smokes and mirrors all the time, especially with our government. And like I said, I love my government. You know what I mean? I love where I was born. I was born in the United States of America. I mean, and there's no other place that I know. So for anybody to say I'm speaking against America or anything like that, no, I'm not. So I
Welcome.
don't
Hit
want
that like
nobody to,
button. Sorry.
yeah, I don't want nobody to mix my views in any which way, or take my likeness or image and mix it up. No, I'm a United States citizen and
Let's
I'm
go.
proud. But you could do better for African Americans. You know what I mean? For the brown and black people. You know what I mean? So that's where I go with that. Yo, Move, did you find out?
Yeah, I slipped out. Man, I couldn't see a thing, man. I'm out in the country. Stars
You
are
didn't see
out,
you didn't see
clear
no golden
skies.
you didn't see no golden thing up there, bro? Pause.
No, man.
You went outside?
And there's some crazy stuff that up there. There's a guy, Stephon Burns.
No, hold
He's
on,
been
hold on,
talking
hold on,
about.
hold on. Move. You didn't go out. Did you go
Yeah,
outside?
yeah. I went outside.
Okay,
I
okay.
looked out, and I looked all the way around. And like I
You
said,
know,
clear skies. Stars are out. Planes are flying by. It's
Hey, I want to say this before I unmute everybody. I want to say this
Mary.
shit while I'm thinking about it. The man, it's about Charlie Kirk real quick. Before I unmute everybody, let me get these few ticks. Your man Charlie Kirk. For the people who see this, besides liking, subbing, and sharing, right? Your man Charlie Kirk didn't have, from what I hear, from what I've seen for the years and years of shit I've compiled in my brain, your man didn't have a hateful bone toward anyone. The man really sat there and was saying, you can do whatever you really want to do, but do something. Like, don't sit around doing nothing. Like, he wanted everyone to be productive to society. That's that as far as black people going. Because the man will sit there, the man sat there and said, damn, do I have it? I don't even know if I have it. I should have played it. But whatever. The man sat there and spoke on black folks, and he always told black people, even when they debate him and talk all that stupid shit, like you can it's 13%. I didn't even know it was that small of a percentage. Black people make up 13% and take up 50 or responsible for more than 50% of the fucking murders. And that's, I don't care who the fuck your man is, who your child is, who they could, if they're a murderer, it's
that
like
that that
you're
that
not
number
supposed
is
to support
disputed.
that shit, bro. Huh? You think the numbers can be disputed?
That 50% number is disputed. I
Well,
seen it
all right.
elsewhere in some places.
Arguably, I would say arguably 50% of the murder. Even if it's not though, bro, we shouldn't even be mentioned as a, as a people. We shouldn't be
Just
mentioned. I don't want to be mentioned. That's not cool, bro. It's not dope. That's not dope, my nigga. That's all he was saying. The same shit we say to each other, he was saying it, except for he put a little bit of stank on it sometimes. By throwing numbers and hurting people feel like it shouldn't hurt your feelings. If it's some real truthful shit, you can sit there and Google it right in front of him. So, that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? And that's how I took his shit as motivation. Like, yo, you right, man. I don't have to be doing this shit. If I do the work, I could be what the fuck I want. At least be better than what I am now.
And that's
Wherever
that's
you
why I
at.
like. That's why I also appreciate him. Because he wasn't racial at all. He just wanted to make USA good again. You know what I mean? He just wanted
Yeah,
to make USA
the
good.
real way. The real way. Word, like. But now, you know what I mean? Shit. Unmute. Go crazy.
Yo, you know, America is the greatest country in the world to me because I manufactured it before I was even had a human body. That's why I could be source being while I'm in it, and not have my head chopped off, as your man was saying before. Um, that's how this shit work. Everything worked to serve you, and if you're in America, that means you're very close to the Most High, and you're high. You have a high conscious level. Yeah, there's stupid people compared to us on this panel, but there's everything has its level, right? Like water finds its level, right? The spirit is like water. So, your containment field is how your body is dressed up, your environment, and all those other things. And then you find your level based on that. If you're shaped like a fucking hermit, then that's your level. You know what I'm saying? So that's how life works. People try to escape it by putting on other people's spirits and other things, and this is how you find yourself. Like, I'm gonna say something too beyond Charlie Kirk, just so I can share this with you, because life is always about reproduction and how to live and how to perfect it. That's man's goal. Period. That's the thing that unify all men. It's even greater than the natural competition that we all generally have inside of us, because the competition is designed to push us to innovate. Right? Correct? Wrong? No.
Right.
So the point that I'm making in short is this, man. Pay attention to how he died, why he died. Get as much information as you can, and see it as just that information and data around this. The fact that he's dead means that he did deserve to die. You know that, right? That's the way nature works. Whatever happens to you is because you didn't
Oh yeah,
accumulate a defense mechanism against
That
it.
was
everything
his
happens
fate.
for a reason.
So you
So
saying that's his
now,
fate?
yeah, of course it's his fate. That's what happened. Whether now because
Yeah.
and by looking at it like that, you already accept all of the possibilities. So you don't have to get lost
Yeah.
in a possibility. Because here's a
Yeah.
possibility. It really could just be fake. It really could just have been. It could all be a stunt just to fuck with our minds. You get what I'm saying? But it could
Yeah.
also be a stunt where a
Hey,
real innocent man died. Right?
yeah. Hey,
It could
source
even
man.
be AI. The whole
I
crowd could
I I
be AI.
I I know that we can't talk about it here, but I seriously need to know who your shroom guy is. I need to know, bro. Because
Well,
like,
honestly, I was kind of I already opened up my identity to King God and Source being prior to actually using mushrooms for the first time in my life. I'm a late guy, man. I tried all that shit like in my late 30s.
yeah. Hey,
You know,
you
I
sound
only
like
smoked.
I almost sound like Billy Carson, man. It's like,
Well, I don't have I don't have a choice but to know that I'm God, because I didn't have the indoctrination that comes psychologically when you have a mother, but I had indoctrination that you get naturally because I was a handsome little baby and I was passed around a lot. Different women used to like babysit me and shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
I drank breast milk from other people's moms and shit like that. So I still
I think
got
that's a
something,
Damn.
right?
cultural thing. I
But it
think that's a
wasn't
cultural
personal
thing.
and it wasn't. Huh?
I think that's a cultural
It's
thing.
like,
Like, what's that
yeah,
called?
yeah. It's like
The mom's wife.
I ended up getting what people think. You know how they say, oh, you didn't have a mother in your life, you didn't have a father. Well, I got it, but I got it. It was extracted, and I was able to ex- do it for myself. Like, because I was taught how to read and write really young, and actually comprehend what I was reading and writing. I had a really, like my grandfather was really big. Like he know that I didn't have shit, because imagine I'm not the firstborn, and I come from a culture where these people really that firstborn shit means something. I couldn't even keep my mother alive because I wasn't the firstborn. You get what I'm saying? So I couldn't
Right.
touch. I can't touch information. I'm not entitled to nothing. I'm just born because she fucked some random guy and made
Firstborn.
me. Nobody.
Firstborn means trouble in my family too. Well, it used to. I don't know about this generation, mine, but like shit, I'm like the last firstborn that before it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Well, somebody
Yo,
probably gave
everybody
something
in
to a
here,
female.
everybody in here is the firstborn.
I'm a
I'm not a
firstborn.
firstborn.
I'm
Same.
a firstborn.
I'm a first
No,
point too.
here's I'm a firstborn on my maternal side. My dad died when I was born, so I might have been his first and only child. Who knows? He might have had other children in
So what
Colombia, but he
time is
died
that?
like right. So I
Oh,
could be a firstborn on my father's side. That's not really known.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay,
you could
got you,
you
got you.
understand, you could
On
be a
the
you could
mother's
have
side, you might
you
be
could be, yeah, like my brother is my first is the firstborn on my mother's side, and also I'm an import because I was born in America. So when I was living in Trinidad, he was
but
from
you
there,
still
so I was in
import.
his home. You get what I'm saying? Like yeah,
I
like
think you call
it's like say
yourself
your
an
mom's was
import.
married to your dad and she go to another country to go to school and then she gets knocked up, and then your grandparents bring some other kid back to come fucking live with you and shit. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like that's how that played out. So, I had access to all what he had access to, with the limitation of not psychologically bonding and connecting with those people because it's like, nigga, you a
yo, now
bastard.
I have
You
to
was
ask
even
you,
supposed.
bro.
do
How did
you
you find
speak?
out that your How did you find out your pops was deceased? Were you told
That's
this
over
or did
years.
you?
Over years, as I got older, I started finding people, and I spoke with with an old woman who was Spanish when I was like in a group home, and she found me somehow, but I couldn't really talk to her, and then that faded, and then years later, I spoke to people who used to hang out with my mother, and they all told me about him. They named his name the same way that I found out, and
Yeah,
they
because I
explained
was
to me
wondering
that
if
he
he
was
lied
dead.
to you or some shit. He could still fucking be out there and you thinking he not. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I'm still
Because
gonna like
I
look
don't
up
think
stuff. I
that's
mean,
just past the month.
you know, I when it comes to like paternal shit, man, like I got so much of that from like my mother's side of the family. It's like there's no reason for me to even exist logically, but I understand that she was logically far away from everybody that controlled her, so she could just, and that's how I learned certain things. Like with my daughters, the ones that I have control of, they're gonna be virgins and shit. They are already. And I got, it's like the ones that other people have access to or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
gotta have proximity to what you can't be. This society is tricking people to believe they could be fathers and shit from a distance, and this is why you got people who don't believe. Well, if you're grown up this way and you had your dad coming to work and you was taught to believe that he spent 8 hours away from you, you see him for like 2 hours, and nigga go to sleep. Maybe once Saturday or on certain occasions y'all have a certain thing, but even then he's like watching his phone or watching the news or hanging out with Earl and them drinking beer while. You get what I'm saying? Even hunting is not really. It's not a you and him thing. It's like a group of friends and he's doing more to talk. I'm just saying, like some people really
It's
think
not
they have it and
24
they don't.
7 during the parent.
But yo, I went far
If it's
away from
not
what I was,
24
the
7.
point I was bringing up, man. Um, you know, I went far. Y'all made me go around the world in 80 days, man. Niggas, man. I told you. What
Thanks.
was that?
You're just sharing, man. That's fucking. I'm all ears.
Yo,
Yeah, man.
you know who my boy has become? You when I talk to you now, my nigga, I see you the way I used to see Sean Bryan. And he used to talk about, except for I don't hate you. I hated Sean Black. Rest in peace. I love the nigga after a while, but at first you wasn't there. You wasn't. That's right. That's right. I forgot. I forgot. Sauce, you wasn't there yet. I forgot. You wasn't even
Yeah,
thought about like me and him was probably like
yeah,
16. Yeah, you wasn't nowhere near us yet. Fucking Doc no. But you end up knowing Sean Black, did you?
yeah. I met him on his way out. He was trying to chase a career in rap or whatever, and I
Okay,
was
you did.
highly
You
impressed by how he couldn't read, but he could like say big syllable words, 3 syllable words, four
Yeah, that
syllable words
motherfucker was
in his
smart,
rap
bro.
song, and it actually made sense and everything. So it's like he just audibly recorded information and then tracked down what it means and paid attention to other people's conversation to extrapolate what words mean. That nigga was brilliant just naturally, right? He just couldn't
Yeah,
read for
he
whatever
was
reason.
fucking awesome, bro. Yo, you said that shit right too, because people didn't know that nigga didn't know how to read that well and all that
Yeah,
shit.
I used
And
to admire that shit because
he
it used
wasn't
to make
doing
me
it
think
right.
that he had like visual superpowers, but nobody knew how to explain it to him, or even
So
like
I mean,
you know.
I knew that nigga couldn't read, but I used to watch him sit there and study and talk to people until he was blue in the face and they was frustrated with him. And I mean, I watched that. Shit. I was like, yo, this motherfucker is amazing. I hate him, but he's fucking
Yo, he had a
amazing.
weird, Sean, he had a way of talking. Like, it sounded like he kind of stupid and shit, right? But if I could try to remember how that nigga talks, son, because it was like a kind of Jamaican accent too. You feel me, son?
Yeah, he was Jamaican.
Yo,
That's
right,
when he
like
passed
that,
away.
like yeah, it had like a Jamaican accent mixed in there. Yeah, and
That
that
nigga
big
was
scar on his face. Yo, oh
on his neck.
yeah. When I first moved in there, that scar and shit, like,
It was
because
on
you
his
know how
neck.
you hear, you, you know how people soup you up about a place you never been to before because they scared of it, but they never went there and shit.
Yeah,
So
that's what. Yeah, our
I was in
reputation
a,
was second to none. It was
I came
it was
from,
really live when Doc was there. That's when the last time that shit was live, live, live.
yo,
I caught the
but
tail
like
end of
I
that
came
shit.
from a place called, I used to be in a place called Pius 12, and people try to like stab you and all kinds of stupid. It was crazy, and so like
My cousin
you
was
know,
there.
I was a move around person. I didn't get to stay in one place because I would always just end up in fights and shit. So they just move me around until I find somewhere to settle. And then, most places I stay in like 5 or 6 months. But then I'll get like a girlfriend or some shit that's older than me and then go somewhere and whatever, disappear and then get kicked out. But when I came to Atlantic House, I was now getting older and I just came out of Rikers Island. So I couldn't be like moving around. I need to settle, right? And I went to this place called the Atlantic House, like the transition before you go to other places. And then niggas was telling me all these war stories and shit. Like, yo, you go there, these
Come
niggas
on,
gonna drop you in
Atlantic.
blood.
You talking about
Yeah,
Hoyt and
yeah,
Skimmerhorn?
yeah. Hut and Skimmer, they closed that shit and turned it into some kind of school or some kind of clinic or
Yeah,
something.
I remember that because we heard the same story. Me and Tank heard the same stories, but we asked for that. We asked for McAdoo. We wanted the fucking smoke to keep it 100, but to keep it real, we caught the last of the real reputation. Like otherwise,
Mm.
like when the niggas was shooting this shit, like when my era came, we had just beat the fuck out of you, and that
Is
was
this
for
the
real.
'90s?
Beat the fuck out.
When is this?
This is
This was
1994.
2000s.
Yeah,
But
2000.
for Doc, it was like 1994 or five or whenever the fuck he got up in there. That's when that shit was dangerous. Niggas was getting shot and niggas was shooting back and all that shit. Niggas, the staff got shot. Israel. I don't know if you knew Israel from Atlantic because that's who was telling us you don't want to go there. Then he always showing everybody he got shot, lifting his shirt up,
Who,
showing
Friday?
motherfuckers.
Friday with the skinny legs, the tall brolic nigga with the skinny legs, big muscle dude, but he had like real thin ass legs.
Nah. Israel was the
But I
comedian
think I
who
know.
used to make DJ
I think
tapes.
I think
Trying
I
to
might
run
know
game
Israel.
on the pork chop. The dramatic sounds of TDS strike again.
Mm. I think I know
That
him,
was
bro.
the
It's
name
just
of the
like it's not
fucking
coming to
tape.
me.
That's how old it was. It's a fucking tape, bro. The dramatic sounds of TDS. And that's what TDS stood for. That was the name of the tape. The dramatic sounds. The dramatic sounds of TDS strike again. And he just make DJ tapes and be like shit. And he used to have jokes on staff. He didn't even know he was talking about them. Like he used to talk about Miss Wallace. He used to say, trying to run game on the
Yo,
pork.
Miss Wallace, the short lady with the short haircut.
Nah, Miss Wallace was we used to call her Miss Walrus. If you can get what
No,
she looked like from that.
That was Miss. No, who was
You
the
talking about Miss
short lady
Flower?
with the short? Yo, I bet this lady that was in MacDougal, she was there with y'all for years, man. The short, fat
Benita.
lady.
Benita.
She was old.
Potato. Yeah.
No, Benita's the light skinned one, but there's another
Yeah.
fat one, and she's dark skinned.
Fat and dark
Or
skin, and she
maybe
was
she
with us
came
for
in.
years.
Maybe she came in there
Jackson.
like after. I don't know, but it was an old lady, bro, and I ended
You
up
talking
like
about Miss
helping her
Jackson?
move something to her house,
Oh
bro. Her
no.
could be Miss Jackson.
Oh
No,
no. You're not
Miss Jackson
with the
was a dark
Caribbean
skin.
accent.
Miss
she wasn't
Caesar?
even Caribbean.
Miss Caesar.
Miss Caesar had died already.
Okay.
Well, some lady, in 2000 and like maybe
Oh
10ish or
yeah.
something. I went into a
Yeah.
house to like help her do something,
If
like
you
because
say
I ran to her in
2000,
the
shit, I
streets.
was almost gone. You might be
Yeah,
talking
that
about Miss
lady had.
Jackson.
Well,
She used to
one of
have
the
a gun
staff,
on her.
bro, I ran into a staff that was in MacDougal before I was there, but then I ran into her. She's like old, and her kids are in different places, and she had nobody to help her, and her house was just like crowded, bro. Like I
Crowded.
tried
Was
to
this
start the
New York?
yeah,
You was in East
damn,
New
how's
York?
that in East New York? Yeah, and like
Was it a
let me tell
house?
you the street. It's an apartment, on
Oh,
New York Avenue, on New York Avenue in Bedford or something like that. No, was it Bedford? Live on that building on Cam, bro. I gotta go back to New York to really
is
put that
that
in my
East New
head,
York?
man.
Hell, is that East New York?
Nah, it's
It's
Crown
like
Heights,
borderline East New York, Crown Heights, and it's
Brownsville.
like
So
before you
nah,
get
Miss
to
Jackson was in East New York. What's her block, L? I know you. I mean, Doc. Shit.
damn,
She over there by BRC, so I know it's by Rockaway and
Nah,
Chester.
because I
I
know if
think
I hear it,
Chester. I think Chester.
I don't think that's it. That's not it. Because she was on a live block, but she lived in a brownstone. And it's like, damn, Miss Jackson, you got some money. It's so
She was right off
crazy
of
ass.
Linden. She was right off of Linden Boulevard,
man.
and
Yeah, Miss
Mother
Jackson.
Gaston.
Yo, that was my favorite staff. And I would have slapped the shit out of somebody from Miss Jackson. All she had to do was say who early. I wouldn't have cared. I'd have put it all on the line. Of course, I love John too, but I'd have beat the hell out of somebody from Miss Jackson because she was from the same town my mom's was from. She talked like my mother, act like my mother, got the same middle name, and I ate her food, and they cooked the same in Jacksonville, Florida. That shit was delicious. Shit almost made me want to go home.
Yeah, man. Yo, this is why I like being me, man. Like, well, I would never want to have had my dad and my mom in my life because both of them obviously didn't have anything to give me directly. You know what I'm saying? All the people that I met that raised me and that took time to raise me had something to give. Feel me? And that is what makes me able to tune into the weather, the world at large, and I could understand how everything served me and not kill myself by going against what's working for me anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
So that's the
you know what
key.
I be thinking about, Brody? When I was going to school and I used to take you with me. And I think I used to open the
Mm.
door for you to walk around. Like you couldn't go to class with me, but I used to open the
Yeah,
door
yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Yo,
I
that
used to
shit
bang
was
bitches and shit like that.
that's what I'm
You
saying. I'll
got
go to class and like as long as you was in the school, I know like wherever the fuck you at is where you was at. But I know you was having the
yeah,
time of your life with that motherfucker.
oh hell yeah. I wasn't getting in trouble and shit like that. It was just like, time away
Yeah, as long
from
as you
stupid
ain't a
shit.
dickhead, that's cool as long as you don't be a dick. That's why I always took you. That's why I took you so many like nigga, come on, let's go. Let's fucking go. Miss
Well,
Griffin,
yo, I mean,
whatever her name is, she went to class with me, like, so I wouldn't cut. Like, she actually went to class with me and sat down in my class. And
yo,
then
whatever happened with
I
that
think
boxing
I
girl, yo?
that
Like, whatever happened to that girl that boxed that that used to,
oh, Monet, the one you was talking to.
whatever happened to
I
her
don't know.
life?
I fucking lost touch with her, and I tried to look for her, but I couldn't find her. What I should have did was went to the fucking boxing gym
Hmm.
because she was in Gleason's. I know she was in Gleason's, but she was going to school in Dobbs Ferry. She had transferred. I knew that.
Yeah,
But
man.
we had
I
kept
don't
in
even
touch
want to
for a
think
while.
about boxing, man. This young nigga got
Yeah,
me
she was
hyped for
young.
a while. I
That's
thought I
that's the
was.
fucking boxing.
Hmm.
Say again?
Now I don't even want to think about boxing though, cause man, my guy, man, he's gonna kill himself. Allegedly, that's what I heard. You know,
Who?
this young guy that I was like mentoring, hanging out with. I was his corner man a
Oh,
couple
okay.
of
You
times.
was fighting and all that.
Yeah, Spider Rico
Yeah.
gonna kill himself. That's what they telling me, and I got my family is too important right now where I got certain things going on and stuff that I couldn't like divulge myself into paying attention to that, which is why I don't even do the due diligence with the Charlie Kirk and all that other stuff.
Oh
I
no,
always put a
you're
disclaimer
gonna
on
hear
that. You know, I put a
you're gonna
disclaimer
hear
on it because it's not. Most of the people you gonna hear me talk about or the politics you're gonna hear me talk about, it's like I'm brushing on it and I'm skimming on it, because it's just awareness just to get around. You know what I mean? Ultimately, the real politics of the day is how I'm eating, how I'm living, the people that I love, how I'm taking care of them, the people that I know, the people that's at a distance, if I'm, how much frequency I'm keeping in touch with them and all that shit, just balancing people, you know? The people you know
right.
is your politics, man. It doesn't matter that the politics that the people are spitting, it's the people you know. That's your politics. All of them represent different bits and pieces of how your brain is and your heart is generating information. And I want to stop fucking seeing and talking about these dead weirdos and shit because there's living people that probably worth talking about. To be honest, I know
No, you
that's
good,
I
bro.
get it. I'm not sound fucked
Just
up,
want
but
to just want to put it out there too. You know what I mean? There was a African American hung at a college dorm.
In
mm,
I
Mississippi.
can't remember. Yeah, Mississippi, Ohio. And still, you know, I ain't get no information
Wait,
after
you said, hold up.
you know first time
In
hearing it.
Mississippi or Ohio?
It was Ohio,
and yo,
Mississippi, I think it was.
and you know what makes me let go of that?
There's a place called Mississippi in Ohio, I think. That's what I read.
Yo, I heard about that too, and in general, when you don't get information about these things, I think we got to look at it like they family ain't pushing it. You
No,
know,
I mean it's probably local. You know what I mean? Like I think the family
Delta State
pushing it,
University. Y'all
but
listening?
you gotta remember who controls it. You know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
media is controlled. So if it ain't meant to be out there, that's where the internet comes into play at, and where the internet is a good tool that be manipulated, and also it get dictated as well, depending on where you streaming at. You know what I mean? So, um, and that's where I think TikTok came a good tool for us because we wasn't limited nowhere in TikTok. You know what I mean? And
that's
I
about
just
to
think
stop.
yeah, exactly. Um, could Trump get his hands into it, and once you got two governments that don't agree with each other, about to agree on something, you know that shit ain't right. You know what I
Yo,
mean?
let me read this to fix the fucking narrative real quick. A black student was found hanging from a tree at Delta State University in Mississippi on September 15th, 2025. The 21-year-old student, identified as Trey Reed, died by suicide, according to Mississippi State Medical Examiner. I should have said self-deletion. The student's body was discovered on Monday, September 15th. Location: the incident occurred on the campus of Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. That's where the confusion is. It's
Oh,
Cleveland,
Cleveland,
Mississippi.
yeah. Okay.
The deceased student was identified as Trey, blah, 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 black student. Cause of death, yeah, ruled it as self-deletion. No evidence of foul play.
They
So
said
you think
that
his
back in
finals took him over the edge?
they said that back in the 50s was no foul play. We hung ourselves. You know what I mean? There was no question in the
Yeah,
moment. You know
anything
what I
that
mean?
happens in Mississippi, I don't believe.
I feel
So
like they're using words like that. Like all of it sounds like a nice. Like it just sounds so conveniently. Like yeah, let's put. Hey, how do we coin it? Put no foul play. Yeah, they'll get them. So how do we
Yeah.
sum up the investigation, sir? No foul play. See, Bob, that's what we're gonna put. Put it in the Boston Times. Run it. We're gonna put it all over the Big Apple.
Welcome to the
Shit.
Lord.
and
Like
again,
who the fuck puts
again, if the family ain't making noise, or if it's very limited, or
no
if
foul
if
play?
if it's a
Or they
couple of
see
people, then you know what I mean,
Yo, it's like
let's
somebody
say
black.
designed
Cleveland,
that shit
Mississippi.
just to get other niggas mad, yo. The nigga family don't be mad. They just be chilling. They probably done settle or got some money or some shit.
But
They
that
sit, you
that
know what I mean?
happens too. That happens
Some
too.
NBA, and they get all these other niggas mad about shit. They ain't got nothing to do with them. Niggas start marching.
Hey, Source,
Five
let me
niggas
ask you
get
a
arrested.
question.
Okay.
You remember the story about Kanika Jenkins back in the day, about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even longer than that.
You know, when they ran up in her house and shit.
No, 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 no. The girl that got went to a party and she got found inside the refrigerator inside the hotel.
Oh, in Mexico.
No, no, I think it was in Chicago. It was
Oh,
in Chicago.
Mexico.
Jeez.
Hold on, hold on.
Who remember?
Did it
Anybody remember
happen?
that story on the panel?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Kanika
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
Jenkins,
yeah, I'm bugging out. Yeah, right, 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 right,
and
right.
then the
Yeah.
mother came. The mother went on and was like, "Oh, I got a phone call, and no, the girls that she went with, they left her, and then she went to find her. Everybody searched the hotel, they couldn't find her.
Yeah.
Then a couple of
Mm.
days later, she got found in the refrigerator. Looked like she was sexually
And they
assault.
camera and they had her just walking up in there and everything.
Yeah, then you had a lot of people on yeah, a lot of internet investigators, you know what I mean? And
Right,
I'm
right,
just
right.
saying, then it was supposed to have been, about the black market with the body parts, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
That when autopsy came, her insides or half her insides was gone, you know what I mean? And
mhm.
nobody can explain that. But I'm just saying that it's just so much thing that goes on in this world that we just don't know as ordinary people that are just trying to live and survive, you know what I mean? That
But what I'm trying to
we
put out there is that ordinary people are the people doing the extraordinary shit. Like it's like an ordinary person who got that code, right? Like, hey man, this organ is needed. Like sometimes people die,
mhm,
right? And once they pass through a system, once they could ID them through a registry system versus oh the
mhm,
mother came and ID her, they already have systems that's gonna summon up things that's needed in different arenas, right? Through the process of you dying. Also, people don't really be dead. Most people could be revived if you leave them for 3 days, but they don't do that anymore. They don't put people in the sun. They don't let you get naked. They don't let kids hug their mamas when they're medically dead. So people just be alive still, and they just be taking your organs, actually murdering you, taking your fucking organs. Like you don't understand. You know how many people on this?
Yeah.
You've ever seen people that have all their limbs intact and they declare them dead? All their limbs are there, right? The heart stopped. They say the heart stopped, and then the machine can't monitor any activity in the brain, so they're dead. But all their limbs are there, and you telling me
mhm,
it just stops. So what stopped? Well, the electricity. So there's no electricity in the brain. So put some there. Charge it up. Make it happen. You can't figure out how to do it, man. It's all bullshit, man. So many of our people that we know and love did not die, bro. They got murdered, and we gotta accept that. That's another thing
Deleted.
that the average person can't accept. Deleted. So because people can't accept that, I'm forced to live in a world with inbreds and pretend that everything is all gravy up to a certain degree that I can tolerate. You
yeah,
know, so I just gotta make children and just push all the inbreds aside that already come built with that understanding. That's just the way I live, man, and I can't like stray away from it. I can't like talk any other way. All my politics will trickle down to that because I can't see any other people be trying to have debates that they think is gonna like change the world and shit. You can't biologically change people with debates. You could only do that with dick and vagina. You know, like
Right.
you
No,
could
you
change,
can't change them
bro.
biologically, but dude, you can change your
Can't. And
philosophies
people be
as you grow older and wiser.
yeah, but it's still contained within a racial paradigm or a spectrum that's only going to need to be fed.
No,
So
dude, it
it's
exists in
like your
every human
fire needs
being.
oxygen. Let's say hypothetically, right? You have two kinds of fire. One needs hydrogen, one needs oxygen, right? Your fire needs oxygen, and the racial construct that you're into, that you're constantly breathing into, is that oxygen. Now, let's say another race needs hydrogen, right? But we only have water. In the middle, we share a space called water, and we need to pick that resource to survive, right? But if we blend the fires together, then we just we're just in an environment where everything, all the resources is basically, you know, metered out more individualistically, and versus like when it's a group of people saying that we're doing this for everybody, but really it's just a group of people bullying this other group or this other group, and so you get what I'm
No,
saying? Like,
I believe there's there are human beings out there that that have faith in growth, and that's no matter what um, what age you are, from from infant to the old person.
okay,
The only constant in life is change and adapting to it. You know,
right.
to say that
And
it's
most wars comes as a result of resources, right, being utilized, right, by a living body that needs to change how that body exists, but doesn't want to. And that's just the basic metrics for war, whatever the war is about. It's always about something that's in place, right, that's absorbing up energy that something that's not in place needs. You get what I'm saying?
no,
So,
because once you say one place or another, I got no platform of no pun intended. I'm not trying to be smart about
okay,
it.
a platform for understanding what I'm saying. The platform for what I'm saying is of understanding what I'm saying is this: if you have, if you're white, I'm black, right? And we live
Okay.
on a place called land, right? Land requires we bend and we manipulate all the resources in it to gain access to whatever we need, right? Food, clothing,
All
shelter,
right.
right?
Okay.
Now, if I'm patterned a certain way because I've been living in a certain way, right? And we even have not only that environmental factors kicking. Like for example, I have more toleration for sun because I'm under the sun all the time, and so I built a dexterity for that, right? So
Mhm.
now I move a certain way, I build a certain way, I architect a certain way, I hunt. Everything is a certain way. I even fart differently because of the kind of beans that I have access to. Right
Yeah,
now,
fair enough.
YouTube, same thing, right?
Fair enough.
Right
Yeah.
now, if I take a family, a black family, right, and bring that, import that into your environment where it's it's not always sunny like where they're from. It's a little more gray skies or whatever. There are sunny days, but they're not really intensely hot, right? It's not what they're accustomed to. So maybe their moods might even be different, right? They don't say they're accustomed living in a more packed area, right? All kinds of trees and everything around them. You're more savanna-y, right? They
Yeah.
come and they pile up everything they need in one place. So you guys tend to live spaced out, right? I'm just giving you an example in this theoretical space, right?
Now, at this point
I bring the
in
black
the
family,
analogy, let me ask you this:
I bring the black family in, and
I-
they mate with another group of black family, and they don't mate with none of your kids. What you think happens over time in your environment? And if you do the same with you in their environment,
you have a white civilization next to a black civilization. Big deal.
right? But there's going to be warfare because
Why?
one, whether let's like in most cases, if there's going to be warfare if there's not an understanding that we need to reproduce. If there's no socialization of that fact, right? No cultivation of that fact in the media,
Blacks
then guess what
represent,
you have?
dude. Blacks represent
You have what you
14%.
have in
Wait, hold
America.
on, hold on. I'll argue that, man, because blacks represent 14% of the population. If there's this huge problem with black people that white people have, just in numbers alone, there would have been like if there was just inevitable war, like you say, then the black population would have been wiped off the nation's earth. But no, it's not. I mean, the black
That wouldn't
population
be true
is,
because the numbers aren't even true because you live. The
dude.
numbers aren't true.
Yeah,
There's not a
dude,
real 13%
you
is not the
can't
true
look.
numbers of how many
Look,
black
we
people live
can we can
because
we can we can debate, or you can
no, no,
disqualify.
no, no. It's not that I can because I can tell you
Disqualify
I could
numbers
just
that
no,
are,
no.
that are. No, you can't just arbitrarily say the numbers aren't true. That the
I'm not.
absolute
I'm not going to
population
arbitrarily.
of.
You're saying I'm arbitrarily saying it, but I could just give you off the top of my head. I know a community in Queens alone where there's at least 5,000 Egyptian people who get to say they're white, and I know some of them personally.
No,
You
I'm
get what
not
I'm
saying
saying?
black, white, dude.
So
We're
that.
talking about the
So what I'm saying
census,
is
all the records,
the
all the.
census is just right. It's just
Come
political.
on
It's
now.
politics
No, it's
and
not.
theatrics. It's not real. It's not real.
Those are real numbers.
There's
Yes,
not
they're real
physically
numbers.
13%.
Sorry. No,
It's not physically 13%.
see, you can't
Hold on.
look.
I can get what he's saying
You
because
can't.
everybody's probably not,
Yeah,
accounted for.
you can't wave your verbal magic wand and say that
That's not
this
verbal. That's
alone
a fact.
exists. No,
There really
no,
is
it's not a
Egyptian
fact.
people living in America who could say they're fucking white and they're
I
darker than
don't.
me.
I don't
That's an
care.
actual fact.
That
That's what
okay.
I'm trying to tell you. So those numbers in that sense don't
So
really matter.
you're saying there's some fake black people involved in well, so what, man?
That's
What
some
I'm saying is
identity
like,
crisis stuff right there.
yeah, dude, that's all
Right.
identity
That's the point
crisis
that I'm
shit.
making. That's the point that I'm
No,
making. So you
yeah,
can't
but it's
use
not.
those numbers per se
Dude,
because
if they call themselves black or they call themselves white, that's got nothing to do with the statistics. And statistics say that 14% of the American population are black.
right,
Okay, so by your analogy, you're saying that if
right.
black folks lived next to white folks, there'd be inevitable war. Well, here it is, going on 200 years now, and if there was this huge problem that white people had, or all the
Well,
people had, let's say,
war
let's
is not
put it,
yo war.
if
War is not
there
just
was this
tankers
huge
and bombs
issue,
and people wiping out people in an instant.
no,
War is sometimes people just getting you fired from your job.
no,
Somebody
war is
getting out of the
no,
car and harassing you and
no,
stamping you with a label.
that
It's
sounds like
just if
somebody.
war
No,
is
that
war.
sounds like somebody that
No,
has
but
never. No, that
because
sounds like that
this
sounds like somebody that's never worn a
dude,
uniform, never been to war. That sounds like somebody who's assuming what war is or read about.
But that
war.
is what war is
No,
not. No,
no, it's
See,
not.
war is every day.
No, it's not
And,
relative.
yes, it
We're not
is.
talking.
You're
We're
just
talking about relativity.
compartmentalizing to extreme murder and extreme. But in
No,
reality, like
war is
like
war,
for example,
and psychosis.
war is
And
war. Like
losing your mind.
Charlie Kirk is war. What
Dude,
happened to
no,
him
no,
is
it is not.
warfare.
No, it is not, dude.
Yes, it is.
Anybody
Yes,
who's
it
willing
is.
to
Because
anybody
so
who's
you're
willing
saying there's
to
no
live.
psychological warfare going on as a result of what happened to him?
No. Because the thing of it is, anybody who's willing to kill somebody, just shoot somebody just because they agree, is psychopath. Okay, they're just crazy, and it doesn't matter if they're white.
So what do you
black,
think soldiers do when they
not
go to
racism.
war?
It's not
The same
racism
shit.
or anything like. Dude, anybody who
Dude, when
decides,
soldiers go to war, it's the same shit, bro. They're
no,
killing
it's
people
not.
over opinions.
It is
Yes,
not.
it
No,
is.
it is not. No, it is
Yes,
not.
it is.
No,
A group of guys get in some sheets of metal, and people send them somewhere, and they're getting ready to kill people. They don't even know why they're doing it. There's all opinionated shit.
No, it's not opinionated.
Yeah, it is.
Because because
It's just organized opinion energy, just lumped up into
weakness.
uniforms and shit.
It's absolute weakness in thinking like that, and I'll tell you why. Okay,
Why is it weakness thinking like that?
It's weakness thinking like that because
why? Because you think it is?
No, it's not because I think it is. It's because it inevitably is.
So why?
Because
why?
Okay, like take for instance, if somebody arbitrarily just kills somebody, all right, takes a knife, and it doesn't matter, white, black, whatever. That's a psychopath, dude. Okay, people who kill people are psychopaths. Okay, there's no.
That's what people. That's pretty much a lot of people. That's the military right there, full of psychopaths. Cops are psychopaths.
No,
criminals and cops are the same thing in most cases.
Psychopaths,
Yeah,
dude, psychopaths go to fucking military prison. You're talking about something that you don't know about. I'm telling you this right now.
I don't. What you mean? I don't know about it? Why would I not know about it?
Okay, so what is the article in which a psychopathic criminal a soldier goes to Leavenworth?
That's somebody's description of. That's a code of ethics written by a group of people so they could have a control and an angle on the psyche of issues concerning a particular event around warfare, right? But it's always warfare.
No,
it doesn't matter.
It's
like what you're doing right now with me is warfare. How could you sit there and you should try to invalidate the fact that you're engaged in a war with my brain right now?
Because
and you're trying to tell me that like war is only subjective to what those people say is war.
Dude,
that's crazy, man.
Because your moral relativity is making it weak. You're saying that because people here are calling to defend our country in the name of God and
bro, how many people you really know joins the army to defend the country?
No, let me finish.
People are doing that because it's a job. They come from nothing sometimes. It's something to give them discipline, to put them in give them something to do every day. So the majority of people you know personally don't sit there and really have a banner of nationalism in the military. Let's be honest. Some people are in the military so they can get a green card and shit. And then they go with her. They agree, they sign a contract, and they follow through on it.
Dude, just because you follow up with something that you say is, you know what I mean, it doesn't mean I don't know what you mean.
That's a meme. You heard that.
Hold on.
That's a meme. You just meme.
You don't even give me a chance. Dude, you say hold on. You say like 8 points.
You just try to meme me.
No.
You just try to frame everything I said with a meme that you picked up somewhere on the internet. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm having.
Yes, you did that whole line you just said.
What your point? No, what your point is that
that's a meme. I saw it.
No, it's not. It's moral relativity. Do you want me to explain moral relativity is? It means it has no compass whatsoever. It means you wave your magic wand and you decide who's a psychopath and who isn't. That's bullshit, dude.
Yes, exactly. That's not bullshit. That's reality. That's nature. If I'm stronger than you, smarter than you, I'm gonna do it, and I'm doing it. Everybody's psychopath. Everybody.
No, they're not.
Somebody's getting.
You're stretching the definition of psychopath so fucking far. It just suits.
I'm not even stretching it.
Yeah, no,
because if you actually define, You want me to go look it up in a book right now and show it to you? It's literally everybody.
I got Google. I don't need to read it because I've already read the ADA on it. It doesn't matter. My point is this, dude. You can't just simply label everything. And that's
Dude, what are you talking about? I'm simply labeled a convict. I'm labeled a convict. I've been labeled a convict for things that I didn't actually do. So what are you talking about? You can't just label when there's people get paid to do it. I can do it too.
Dude, there are billions of.
That's reality. You can't say it and say I can't. You're trying to no. You're trying to control the flow of how my mind works.
No,
for whatever reason, I don't know why.
Anything, dude. You were sitting.
So then how you gonna tell me I can't do something I didn't?
No, you already said that the people in the military are psychopaths, and you have to walk that back.
They are.
Because they're not. No, they're not.
If you dropping bombs, if you pressing buttons knowing that bombs will drop, and you didn't do the due diligence yourself to know why this bomb is dropping, other than you just following orders, you are a psychopath. It doesn't matter how you phrase it.
Due diligence has already been done for you. That's what the whole point of
by whom
in the first place. What do you mean by
whom?
If you want to know, you should join. You know what? I'm telling you this right now. You want to know, you should sign up tomorrow, bro.
But
if you want to know so bad, if you're on it, if you don't want to
jump the people, he may be using the wrong word. You know what I mean?
First of all, you acting like because you actually wasn't in the military.
One at a time.
It is kind of crazy that
the military is
you
a
go
part.
into the military and you follow these orders and you don't know why you pressing this button, or you think you know why you pressing.
Yeah, that's psychopathic. How you gonna sit there and tell me that's not a psychopath?
On top of kids, that's not in the right, because you're going against your morals and your rights. You know what I mean? Because you following orders. So I mean, that's why I never joined the army, because I just felt that.
Let's just be honest about what the army is filled with. The army is filled with a lot of young men who need jobs. Who either need jobs.
And I respect my people that join the army. You know what I mean? I respect my armed forces.
Nah, hold on.
And then it's filled with other people who want to actually kill people and want to live out those fantasies. That's the truth. A lot of people in the army want to live out fantasies. A lot of them. And then a lot of people are actually gaslighted into thinking they're heroes. But they not. Nobody would believe that bullshit.
Hold on. But you can't say you can't say that everybody who joins the army, they join in the army because they trying to kill somebody. Like they put them under the impression that they fighting for their country. You get what I'm saying? So what you call it?
Let me ask you a question. If you learn self-defense, what do you learn self-defense for?
Hey, hold on a second. Josh hadn't spoken a word here in a second. Just look, can we give him back the stage here for a moment?
I seen some videos and they ask people, why you join the army. Some people join the army because they need a green card for their family. Some people join the army because they want to kill people. Some people that's the psychopaths. Some people join the army because they want to fight for their country. You get what I'm saying? So like
all of it is psychopathic.
Nah, if you fighting for your country, because if they telling you that you fighting for the freedom, for
most people know that shit ain't
freedom,
true.
and you fighting for your country's
if they could read
freedom, what you gonna do?
If they could read it right above a high school level, they know it's bullshit.
What happened?
Man.
If they can read and write above a high school level, most wars that people been through from the past 40 years, these motherfuckers know that it was bullshit.
No, dude, if you ever had to sign up, if you ever decide, well, hold on a second. If you ever decide to sign up, you're gonna have to take a test. It's called the ASVAB.
ASVAB, yeah.
And the thing is, you have to score a particular score in order to get into the military.
A 31. You got to get a 31.
If you score low enough, you will not. No. This is the
Here's the flip side of it. When I was
let me finish. Everybody, let me finish.
People prepare you, and you could even access people who are truly
You had your time. Let me get this in. All right. I'm not saying that the wars is fought for good reasons. We all know that it's corruption in wars. They do drug trafficking, human trafficking, and all of that in the wars. That's the reason why the wars. But they're not telling us that. They tell us that we fight it for our freedom. So that's the impression that we're under. You know what I mean? That we go and fight and we fight it for our freedom. You know what I mean? Like what you call it? It's not that like we're going out there because we want to kill people. We taking orders because we feel that we making it safe back home for our families. You get what I'm saying? So what you call it, like it's not all about psychopaths. You know, like yeah, the people that runs the country, yeah, they fighting for the wrong reasons, but that's not why the military's fighting. They don't know that they
Listen,
fighting for the wrong reasons.
you want to know the
Right.
truth about this whole? You know how everybody
I get it.
got all this political system, right? People believe that we're in a capitalist. They believe China is in a communism system and all that. Ultimately, all of this shit is the same everywhere. It's just
Yeah.
that piles of people, based on their genetic makeup and their nature, when they're encroached in their own space with themselves, their natures exude a little bit more than others, right? So people that are trying, like built like drones, they tend to need that kind of system. When they're in control of their land, they're going to be communists, no matter what. That's just the way we would define their system, right? And then there are
Now,
people who are
you couldn't.
capitalists.
I'm sorry. Let me just interject for 1 or 2 minutes. I'm just asking for 2 minutes, okay? Now, I'll tell you why we have a military. This is not, it's got nothing to do with it's got nothing to do with the human instinct or whatever they want to be, a drones
Oh,
leader.
really? So it
Look,
doesn't have nothing to do. So, but
no,
you're talking
no.
about humans, but it has
I
nothing to
said,
do with human intelligence.
I said 2 minutes, please. Okay, just 2 minutes. So you just give me 2 minutes. All right. Now there was a debate because there could be warships built when we first built this country. Okay, and there was a debate whether or not we should have a navy. Okay, we didn't have jack shit back then. Okay, we didn't have an army, we didn't have anything. Okay, but what we thought was just like why should we put a navy out there with ships and guns and that kind of stuff when all we want to do is transport our goods that we make here in the United States through the Gulfs of Tripoli and that kind of thing in order to make a trade. So the reason being was is every time we went to pass those ships through the Tripoli, our ships would get robbed, our people captured, and over 1 million American slaves were made because of that. Okay, and that's why we created the Navy. That's why we created the Marines. Okay, it's because we created a Navy to protect ourselves, to protect our trade, to protect it. It had nothing to do with people being fucking psychopaths or anything like that. It had to do with protecting our business, protecting.
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
you.
wait a second, just last half minute here. Had you read the Federalist Papers, they would have told you exactly why we interact with the other countries around the world in trade, and why Trump is right now bullying the rest of the world because we are the top consumers. We spend the most money, period, on wars, on food, on everything. Okay, so that was my thing. Okay, so like you got it totally wrong when you sit there and start talking about psychopaths. That's why the military was created to protect us, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they remain to do that today.
I mean, considering all things within the military and the whole scope of it, yes, there's validation. Just like there's firemen who are rescuing people and saving lives, and there are also firemen who let certain places burn on purpose that they didn't have to. It's part of the nature of life,
What's a
right?
percentage of that? Well, how many firefighters? Out of 1 million firefighters, how many motherfucking firefighters? I gotta ask the question. Sorry, begging
Well,
to be asked.
I didn't study it. It's just like I live here in this country, and I heard people with their historical events
Then
about what they
I
witnessed.
apologize for asking like
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
That was disrespectful. My bad. All right.
I'm not gonna sit here and take records as the only means. Like I utilize records the same way you do, and stats the same way you do, right?
Yes.
But you gotta understand, I also trust people, and I can tell people when they, just like I don't trust people. And
Well, sometimes.
Oracle
Oh,
information is actually more reliable, believe it or not, contrary to what the scientists and the professionals will have you believe. Actually, talking with people, living with people, studying people in reality with them, right, is actually more reliable source of information because you get the human. See, paperwork don't account for humanity and feelings and emotions and all these other things, but you can extrapolate that by talking to people, and you could extrapolate the person is telling you the truth based on how you study that person's life in front of you and their performance of it, right? Because if they're being this way, then you could say, oh, this is why they will tell me this story in this particular manner.
And here's where I can get to the root of it. So this idea that um yes, I'm stupid and I don't know that the Navy protects routes of trade and all. Like you sound like you think that you're talking to a retard. First of all, I created the whole universe, man. This whole human shit is just a fake character. I'm actually acting right now. I'm not a real human like you are. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is just a fact of life for me. The problem is you live in a realm where you just can't accept that, and I get it because you're not me, right? Some people could accept it more than you because pieces of me float in them more so than it does in you. Certain aspects of me,
After
certain
yeah,
qualities.
after
That's
the
just
show,
life,
I'm
and that's
telling you,
just life.
after the
That's
show,
literally life.
I need to know your shroom guy. I told you that.
So
After
you
the fucking
because
show,
the
bro.
thing is,
Facts.
you can't refute
Facts.
nothing
I will, I
that the
will,
Man,
Father
good,
I will
nature. I
good.
drive.
don't
I will drive
I
for
don't
them
Man,
speak
shrooms,
to
dude.
good,
theories.
good.
I can
And
utilize nature
I'm
to
laughing
tell you a
respectfully
theory.
because I understand where Source being coming from because and I'm not saying that all he's saying I concur with it. You know what I mean? But I do know people that grew up,
Don't sit there and tell me
1,100%
I'm
God body, and
That's why
how
I'm
they
saying he
feel
remind me
and
of
how they
Sean Black,
move. You know what I
bro.
mean?
He
They
remind me of
move with
Sean
that
Black.
essence, and if you're a true God and you believe in what you believe in, you're going to believe in things. And I also know, as me who I am, I know I only use a certain percentage of my brain waves. You know what I mean? So I can't say this man is either, you know, um, denying the fact of who he is, or know a little bit more than what I know. You know what I mean? He may be in touch with, again, like what you said with the shroom. It
Yeah,
open up your mind to different things. So he may be in tune with something in his mind that opened up and has told him, yo, God, this is what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm not
Yeah,
saying,
me.
but I do believe that that he 100% believe in what he believes in. You know what I mean? And
absolutely. Yeah,
I don't. You know what I mean?
and
Because
it's
I
Let
think
only
me
what
tell
Joe.
you how
opened
this
his
Yeah,
neck
is.
to the
If I
fact
no,
tell
that,
you something, especially
yeah.
if
yo,
I'm
hold on, hold on,
broadcasting it
hold on,
right
hold on,
now,
hold on, hold on, real quick. Because when I first met Sauce, he wasn't like this. Now, all the things that he said, he was getting in the fight, and he wasn't no bitch. All of that's true. But he was slightly different, and I guess he was still finding himself because he was like 17 or some shit like that. I know he's younger, but I mean, to see, that's why I say it's like Sean Black. Like, the only thing is now, I don't hate you. And I already know where you're coming from because I heard it before. So when Doc said the 5%, I'm like, that's what I mean when I say this nigga's like Sean Bryant, bro. And I heard it before.
Yeah,
And he's like, I already know what to expect. I know what he's going to say. Except for, you don't eat pork, do you? You eat pork? Sauce.
I haven't done that in a while. But there's no
Yeah.
particular religious
Same thing,
reason that
same
I
thing.
should or should be.
Yellow
It's
5,
just
yellow
like out
6,
of
the
habit.
dyes, red 40. You pay attention to the dyes
can't
and shit you
can't. Yeah, are
Not
you?
all the time.
eat? Do you pay attention to the dyes that you eat, like the yellow 5,
For my
yellow 6,
son,
red
for
40,
my
like
for my
Sean
son,
Black was
for
eating that?
for my son, I do, but not for myself.
Okay, okay.
I come from a perspective where not that I come from, but I'm in the perspective that I'm a reduction. He's the new body, and I'm just gonna download my spirit, and so I play with my body to figure things out, so I could know what is what. You know what I
Right.
mean? In a more tangible way, because I know everything when I have to access it, but I need proximity to a symbol, which is a thing. Anything, whether it's anything. I need access to. I need a physical thing to basically bring my brain to care about some kind of information to pull it out of thin air. Like
Right, I
like if
feel
I
you.
had to hang out with somebody who is a lawyer, then I'll start talking lawyer shit, and I'll excel at it for whatever we need to get done. Or if it's like a cure or some shit, or I need to cut
So you
somebody
got to see
open.
the results. Like you got to see like if it's doing damage to you
Like it have to mean
first,
something. Like you can't just tell me a guy got shot, heal him. I don't know this guy. I don't have a personal, you know what I'm saying? Because my
right?
human body is the temple of where I sit. So like I have to care about it, and it has to mean something to me. Like Israel only means something because I'm made with an Israel woman to make my son. But the real Israel for me is right here in America or wherever I'm at. And literally wherever I'm at, or whoever it could have been my dad or whoever chose to be me in the timeline that they're in. What happens is the land around you will start being dug up. People will start discovering every mythology they believe in will all be rounded up where I'm at, whatever land I'm sitting on, and then wherever it is, and it will just conform to that. Unless I move out of America, then it would go back to that. But they're trying to get me over there. But I'm staying here because I want to do something here. But yeah, like you will see in the coming years that nobody could prove anything other than niggas been here first and whatever. However, it will all just fold up into whatever makes America Israel. And the edge is basically whatever I don't concern myself with. The
But
government
that's
will
crazy
guard it and
because
all
that's
that
not
shit.
the first time that I
And it's
heard
really
that
just
because
nothingness.
I
It's
heard
just
that America is Israel because they got the pyramids over here. I heard that they found pyramids over here.
well, you know how people believe aliens and all this shit is in secretly in control of the government. And then when you keep on researching, you find out that it's an ancient computer. It's not really an alien. So it goes right back to it's a man who did it. And everything is about trying to keep humans from realizing that they are gods. Because once they realize that they are gods, then they're going to have to realize, oh shit, if I'm a man and I'm a god, then there must be a man who's more god than I am. And this is that fucks with everybody's ego. And that's the thing that the government used to
Yeah, but
stop people from
now
perpetuating the god
here's
mindset.
another
That's one thing I
twist
agree with
too.
because Jesus did
And that's
say
where
that
racism
we are
basically tries
gods.
to hamper that, because there is a god human group of people and there is a people that they made, and because they're made in the image of God and the likeness of God, what end up happening is they have ego just like God. And so where we're at right now is a child's ego not allowing the father's ego to step back into the house. So it's
Oh,
either getting to a point where warfare again, back to nature. So
Holy shit, that makes sense
it does.
in a deep way.
That was deep
Yo,
as
Josh,
shit.
Yeah, because it came back full circle to
Josh,
the father
yo,
or
hold on.
absence.
2 seconds. I just really need 2 seconds.
That's
Josh,
crazy.
man, welcome to Saturday night, bro. I be
Appreciate
trying to
it.
have this. That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, my nigga, I just wanted to run through them fucking bits so we can get to this shit right here. I just wanted to, like, when I do shows, I want to go through the format. And I know this shit. You went last week. You was there last week. But this
Yeah, for
week,
the
this is what I
boxing
really
match.
wanted you here for. I wanted you here. This is like my brain trust right here. And
Right.
I wanted you here for this one. Like, yeah, that's why I redid the damn near the same show over again.
I appreciate it.
Hmm.
I really appreciate it because, like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is some deep
for the
talk right
brain
here.
trust.
Some deep talk. You
Yeah,
got
that's
different
what I'm saying. Yo,
perspectives.
you know what the fuck I'm doing right now? I'm sitting here. I don't know if y'all heard the water in the background. I am marinating ribs for tomorrow's dinner, man. And
Yeah.
I'm listening, my nigga. I don't even need to talk no more. I already talked for an hour. That's all I want. That's all I want. And I'm sitting here marinating and listening and chiming in here and there.
Right. Same.
you know,
Same.
when I talk to people, they come up with all kinds of things that they think I'm a Republican. If I'm talking to black people, right, they think I'm a Republican sellout. If I'm talking to a Republican white person, they think I'm a liberal Negro with anger issues. Or if I'm talking to just a
I got here.
retarded young nigga, he think I'm an old nigga that need to I need to be a little more aggressive or whatever the fuck it is. And it's always a oppositional force, and that goes back into the God nature, the God persona that every human have within them, right? And so, um, this is basically where the bodies can trap it. In other words, when all the bodies are similar too much, right? You're not gonna be able to have a conversation or process imagery or imagination, because that's how we share thoughts with each other. We have an imagination, right, that we use to pass around, right? So that's
Right.
the first nation building you have is imagination, right? You gotta like I'm building a scene in your mind as I speak currently. You see what I'm saying? And then your own mind, based on your own personality and your own algorithms, then take that information and then create the scene the way you want to, or the way you allow, depending on how trained you are, right? Training also is not just something you do in real time with your mind. It's something your body does molecularly. So the training of your body gets passed on through reproduction, right? But whatever you look like, it represents a packet of data, like the kind of packet. Like you might have 5G, you might have this G, right? You might like 6G might be white people, 9G might be black people or some shit, right? If you looking at time backwards, right? And you have these different technologies and different abilities, but you have to cross pollinate those platforms because you still live in a broad universe, right? And if you're not at the core, those who are not at the core, right, they rely on a network that needs to get to the core network. There obviously was a first layer of networking, right? Like you know how you got wires, you still have 5G and all that shit, but all those G's are built on the first telephony wire system and the cable system and so on. You get what I'm saying? And they're just like
Man,
adding
I
pieces
work in
and
a
pieces.
data center right now.
Humanity's the same way. You know, humanity. When I say humanity, think of the word of hue and manity, right? Like not HU, like humungi, but humanity, right? Meaning the different color spectrums that we have, or the different bone structures. Those
No,
things
I
are
hear
literally.
humanity. When I hear humanity, I think like humanity, like it's involving everybody, but it's like it says man.
Okay, but yeah, but the word hue is in it. There's an actual, hue. That
Human.
that means you have
Yeah.
that implies coloration, right? Coloration implies a spectrum, right?
Well,
Now, because we're
I'm
talking
just
about
putting
humans
this
and it's a solid particle, it doesn't mean we're not talking about a spiritual thing, a
out.
spiral, right? Think something that's spiraling. Humans are spiraling. Humans are spirit because they're spiraling. It's a physical spiraling, but it is in fact spirit, right? You're a living physical spirit because you're constantly spiraling through time, literally. That's what's happening, and you're doing it. Your wife and you, or the female that you make babies with, is like that part of the matrix when you hit the X in the helix, right? When it crosses, and then it goes up, and then it finds another female and a male after it does this dance, right? Apart, and then it comes back together, right? Constantly doing it like an oscillation, right? But if you do that over and over in the same bandwidth, you don't have the eight symbol. Now you just create a circle. That's called a bubble. Because now, you get what I'm saying? It's not
Uh,
oscillating.
I think yeah, you're absolutely right when it comes down to like the melting pot of love. I mean,
And that's
you
what America
never
is.
know what.
America is the part of the eight in the middle where all the cross pollination of humanity comes together. When there's not adequate cross pollination, then the system or the matrix of America starts to break down. It physically collapses. It gets
That
attacked by all the
that's
inbreds on
fine.
the outside who
That's
want to
fan.
keep power and inbred bill
That's fine.
because
That's
America
fine.
keeps inbred bill at bay.
If we can continue that melting pot thing going on without the illegal aliens, it would be fantastic.
Well, the reason, let's address why the illegal aliens came in the first place, because people didn't want to give certain people jobs.
No, because they were
Yeah, yeah,
illegal.
yeah, yeah.
They
That's
didn't. No, no,
No,
no, no,
the
no, no,
reason
no, no, no,
why,
no, no.
no,
There
no,
dude.
used to
I'm
be
gonna
the
real
leave
good
it there.
reason,
territory. There used to be
Yo,
real good territory.
the
Remember?
reason why it was
There's a door.
because they they don't have to pay illegal immigrants as much as they pay Americans.
Exactly, dude. It's
That's
indentured
why.
Right,
servitude. It's indentured
right.
servitude. It's slavery, bro. No, dude, that's not good. Not only that, it
Yes.
affected the wages. Like, imagine working over at a gas station for like $30 an hour, $40 an hour. That's what it would be if we didn't invite everybody in here to work and underbid the American worker by like 70%. Like think about the wages that you would normally make at a job, and another dude, no matter what color,
Okay,
race, or creed, coming
okay.
in and saying,
But
"Hey, I'll do it for
who
$30 an hour."
who are the American business owners by the large majority?
Does it matter?
No, it does matter to a
Everybody,
degree because if
nobody
you,
wanted.
why would you
Nobody look,
sabotage your own kid's
look.
future unless you didn't think that
Nobody.
there was something
Look,
to cover? Listen, if you open a business,
nobody.
you're gonna need people to work your business, right?
No,
So
nobody
if
wanted to
you
be the
don't
bad.
plan, wait, listen.
Nobody wanted to be the bad guy. Everybody wanted to be just fine
But there has to
with
be a bad
everything
guy in
was
this
cool.
story.
No, unfortunately, it came later
I mean,
than. I
I'm
mean,
gonna naturally be the bad guy because I'm God. I know that already. But what I'm saying is, in the human script, right? There has to really be a bad guy. Like, who has the control of the helm in America? Who supposedly did all the greatest things in America?
what do
Whoever
you?
that is, that's who. That's the group of people that has to understand that they created this mess, because the 13% of people can't create the mess, and another
No,
20% can't create
there
it.
was a border that was established, and there was doors to come in. Like my grandfather, he was one of them. He came in through the
No,
front
wait, let me tell you what happened. There was a lot of
No, he
fake
came in through the
integration.
front door. No, no, no. Wait
A
a
lot of
second.
fake
I
integration
think
happened.
I think you misunderstand what immigration is, and if I can explain, that'd be great.
No, I
Right?
don't
Listen,
misunderstand it. I
no, no.
understand where
Immigration
you're telling me.
isn't for the guy. The immigration isn't for the guy that's here trying to be a citizen. Okay, when he gets a
Okay,
citizenship,
but
that means his
uh,
entire family, from that point on, the family that he builds in the United States, continue to be citizens. They have the freedoms that no other country in the world have. So if you sneak in
yeah,
here,
I mean, I have a family full of immigrants, and I know a lot of immigrants. I
yes,
understand the
hey,
process of immigration and stuff. What I'm trying to tell you though is, right, as a God, as a person who remembers how I created the universe, right? America is designed to always have been the place where we create mixed people. This is where the golden society occurs
yeah,
over and over and over.
that
The
doesn't make
world over time, as groups of inbreds begin to take control of the lands they're from and they use up their resources because they get so stupid in large numbers, right? America's job
The
becomes the place where
generations
people are
progress.
free to progress mindsets and thought processes within the God body, which is the entirety of it all, right? And then become like a police or like a immune system to go through the world and basically set balance and order to keep the environment stable. Now, what was
dude.
going on in America
Well,
politically
hold
that
on, dude.
let me
We're gonna continue this show from here on out, and I hope it is successful because we are gonna do but nothing but buy you steaks so they can serve them to you in that rubber room that Trump's gonna put you in. I'm talking
well, you know, I'm not worried about that because they
any
all
thickness that you want, man. I'm telling you, 2 inch thick cut, man. You're gonna eat like a fucking high
I
heaven.
could say a word, I could say a word and crumble the whole reality. I could just think a word and crumble reality. So
Yeah,
I've always lived with that ability, and I've never even touched that like a button. You know.
yeah, man.
Here's the thing, man. People need to understand what happened in America is that there are people who understand what America is. They can get the info, just like I'm telling you the information, but their emotions and then the group of that emotions and the intensity would not allow for the right decision to be made, no matter what. They genetically can't do it. You can sit here and argue with that all you want, but that's a fact of life. When you're intensely around the same kind of people, like everybody look like you, they all think the same way, they shit, eat the same food, this, that. Even when you have the mixed people, right? You could see it working. Crowd therapy, right? Can work on an
Are what
individual and
you
make the
surround
individual
yourself
think they're a
around.
part of the
You
crowd, right?
you are what
That's
you who
part of
you are.
genetics.
You are
So now
who
imagine
you
if
surround
everybody,
yourself around.
imagine if everybody already, not only are the crowd ethics and the crowd culture got you, the peer pressure, but you all got the same color eyes. And you all went to the same military training. You all and the same leader and the same tutors and everything, right? And you're in politics, you're the bodyguard for this guy. They making you do all this crazy shit, right? You can't, no matter how much right information you have, you're never gonna make the right decision because you just can't do it because it's just too intense. One of you guys go and you end up marrying some chick from Botswana in a mission, random bullshit, right? That changes. No, I'm telling
Too
you,
many of them.
that
Too many of
changes.
them. Too
It
many of
creates
them
a.
die. No, too many of
I'm
them
just
die
telling you,
for the right decision. No, I think that's
telling you, but
contrary. I
this is
don't
how
think
life
people
works.
ever
The,
read
the reality
military
of
records. I don't think
you know how you. Let me tell you something.
I don't think
Tyrannical
you.
government shit that happens in America is only broken up via racial issues. Or y'all can report each other from sun up to sundown. Nothing really changes.
Yeah,
But
but the race thing is always going to
once
does.
you bring race
Like,
into it, it starts to crack a open. That's how it's always been. Everything has
I
been
said
like that.
that.
Even the
I said
Second
that.
Amendment. Even the Second Amendment. You
As
can sit
long
here
as it
and
works,
here's the
they gonna
thing:
keep
if you
working
don't,
it.
this is where Negroes really have to get credit in America. Is that they are the matrix. They're like the agent in the matrix that double checks if the matrix is really what it say it is. That's what it is. That's their job. But what happens is if they themselves get too caught up in inbredism, right? That agency becomes hyper involved or hyper questionable or hyper paranoid or whatever. So there's a balance order here, right? if people can by and large, you pick out 10 random people that even if their moms is on the worst drugs ever, they come out, they can run fast, they can do this and do that. 10 of these motherfuckers, right? And then you go to another group of people. To get that 10 people, you gotta go through a lot of people to get that 10 people, right? It's natural. I'm gonna just say this out loud. The number system proves to me the number matrix that's psychically being taught to Americans about how much people exist here proves that there the strength or the genetic intensity, especially using the number 13. When you do the etymology, I was just gonna say the etymology on the number 13, but you get what I'm saying. When you break down the history of the number 13 from all different kinds of cultures, especially the Judeo-Christian culture, right? The Abrahamic culture, you do that. That alone tells you there's some shit going on there, and that just lets me
a
know
lot of
that
floor, a lot of floors, a lot of buildings skip the 13th
yeah,
floor
yeah,
and
yeah.
shit
If
like
you
that.
if you have
It's
if you
real
sitting
crazy.
there and you put in
Yeah,
so
that's
this
for real
shit
too.
like this,
Hey, like being
there's so much
a
reflections of
mover
your
in New
God
York.
self around you, and you have to, in order to tap into your God self, you have to tap into racial culture because culture is basically you understanding how to mix chemicals together. You have to look at people as alchemy and then reproduce, and then that has to be awareness that has to be spread. People have to be
Whoa,
aware of this
whoa,
because if they're
whoa,
not
whoa,
aware of this,
whoa, whoa! Time out, time out. What okay, so I'm supposed to be aware of God because I worship
that
God.
part, yeah,
Christian or
okay, to
Christian. Hold on,
encompass
hold
your
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me just list
Take
down these
time.
because like I'm needing like this priority as you establish these ways here and so it's my priorities are first God, country, and our God, family, country. Okay, so I'm trying
right.
to fit those into this world that you say that I conjure for myself, and um, I'm having trouble with the whole when I'm supposed to be concerned. Okay, because if I'm concerned with God, I gotta kind of think about that guy every like 3 to 5 seconds at least. If he let him know that I'm here in a whole 9 yards, and all throughout my day, I gotta remember my trade. Because I'm studying this work that I do every day,
Mm-hmm.
and the better I get at this work, and the more I save my company money, the more money I make, and then I even skip my family at that point. And as I'm you know wondering about my family and that kind of thing, I'm supposed to worry about the percentage of Asian people to South
Well,
Polynesian to Mexican to because there's a lot of
you
races throughout the world, brother. And
okay? So
my
you
see the thing of it is like it gets so complex at the point, and the funny thing of it is that the United States, like you said, this is the fucking funny point, is you're absolutely right. It's saying that this is the melting pot. Eventually, what you're worried about, okay, what you're worried about is inbreeding. And by the way, I think you're really kind of using that word in the sense that inbreeding is the same race and the same family, repeating having kids and that kind of thing, which doesn't bode well for genetics at all.
well,
And,
yeah, it's proven
and the
by
thing of
it's proven by
it,
like if you go to most suburban areas, there's a lot of children born with crazy like it's like they're all born with some
all
sort of like
right, I've literally,
dilapidating mental
I'm 50 years
right
old. I'm 50 years old.
and
Hold on. I've literally met like thousands of people,
right
and and
now when
and,
you go when
and
you
just
go to
have
urban
in that mirror half century alive. Okay, I still have all my five. I have all five. I have all 5 fingers on each hand, and all five toes on each foot. And that's
Mhm.
just all I'm summing up is the math doesn't add up. Eventually, what you're worried about here in the United States is going to take care of itself. My grandkid that or great grandkid may fall in love
But
with somebody
hear me
who's
out real quick. Let me interject
but
real quick. The
the
reason why I talk
likelihood the likelihood. I mean, you came from New York for crying out loud. It's the hub
hear
of
me out though.
immigration, bro. But you're
Hear me out
worried
though.
about this? No, it's not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hear me out. It's because I come with memories that are so old. There's not even dates to it because also the date system is all fucked up right now, right? So I
Wait a
don't even
second.
have
Wait a
a proper.
second. Oh gosh, you went from Star Child,
Let
Source
me
Child
explain
to,
something to you.
to Star Child now. No, man, I want to know who your fucking true
However
guy.
you want to,
I want to know who
however
your
you
true
want
guy
to
is.
look at it. I come
Welcome
with
to
so much. I mean,
Saturday.
most,
Damn,
you
dude,
know,
I'm telling you, I will
look,
figure out the world's problems.
the
Hey,
point
just
that I'm
let me
making is
know.
this, right? It's not that the reason why I have an urgency in it because I also come with compounding emotions that took years and years and years to harness, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree, but that's your
I'm not.
DNA, bro.
But
I,
Fucking, that's all.
what you
I'm
call it?
trying to tell you is that I've also remembered a timeline where everybody was informed and nobody hide this information from groups of people. So people basically slowly ushered the whole society into it, and we literally built the most efficient, superb society you could have ever imagined, and it lasted for like thousands of eons.
Build that,
All right,
build
That's what
that.
I'm
source.
trying to tell you.
But build
We could do this
build
the
that.
hard
Yo,
way,
hit
or we
that
could do this
hit
the
that upside
easy
the
way.
head,
That's what I'm
bro.
trying to tell you.
Yeah,
In other words,
No,
we could just let people see
hit
what they
it.
see with their own fucking eyes, because
Pause,
nothing I'm telling you needs to be fucking written in a book. You can just look with your fucking eyes and see it. Just
For
color.
real,
It's
bro.
it's written. You study colors in
Can
school, right? It's literally the same shit. People
hey, you
can
just
know
I
what?
just say this?
emerge in
Can
professionalism. Well, I'm a
can I
professional,
put the side note out there?
and this is
Let me
only
put the
contained
side
in
note.
this particular
Look.
paradigm, but it doesn't happen here. And thermoscience is only
No, but
in a
check
lab,
it.
but it doesn't happen in
Check it.
reality.
Source, check it though. Check it though. People
One
believe
at a
in the
time.
Bible, right? People believe in the Bible, and it said people live for thousands of years, right? Who to say?
Right.
Who to say what you talking about right now? How you just put it? You know what I mean?
Well,
And manifest.
you can't live. You
And
can't
that's what's
live.
scary.
Negative does not promote
It
oscillation.
is.
Negative,
It
and
is.
positive,
Hold
positive
and
doesn't
it
promote
is
oscillation.
scary.
That you see that with electricity.
And this is what I said. Like I don't want to knock them.
How you
Ever
gonna
since I
close a
heard them,
circuit with the same?
ever since
No,
I heard them when we first started the panel a couple of years ago. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And I I was always inquisitive about it. And I mean that's why I asked him questions, this, that, and third. But
yeah.
now you
Think
know
about it like this, right?
he opened up a light inside your mind now. Like yo, think about it now. If you
Now
believe
Think
in the
about it
here's
like
some
Bible,
this.
weird shit. Okay, here's a weird response to that. There, yellow, is that when I was growing up, I was growing up as strict Catholic, and anybody that's saying anything outside, what God or what the politics was saying is just bullshit. Okay, so just listen to your folks, listen to the priest, and you'll be fine. Listen to your teachers, blah blah blah. Okay, so I did that,
That's
and
inbredism.
as no, shut up.
That's the ism of it.
Fucking
That's what I'm trying to
no,
explain to
no.
you.
Yes, it's called Catholicism, bro. Okay, so anyway,
No, but
no,
that's a word inside of the paradigm of
but
inbredism.
oh, whatever,
hold on
whatever.
to that door.
Hold
So
on.
let me finish. So
So as I'm going through high school, right, and towards the end of high school, I started experimenting with drugs, from LSD to fucking weed, we name it, right. And I'd be hanging around with the fucking hippie kids, and they're like, bro, they used to snatch fucking soldiers right off the street in the military. They used to snatch off U.S. citizens, snatch them up in buses, and then take them over to an undisclosed site and load them up on LSD, bro. And they used to do experiments with them, man. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, I consider the fucking source. It's this long-haired hippie kid, doesn't fucking shave, no haircut, no nothing. Smells like fucking last week's garbage. And I'm like, yeah, and I just signed him on, and I, from that experience, I was like, okay, this is too wild for my fucking taste. I don't want a life of dropping LSD or eating a bunch of shrooms and then talking about this. And then, okay, here's some crazy shit. Like just like about 10, 12 years ago, I start snooping around where people say, hey, start snooping around over here, and all of a sudden I start discovering MK Ultra. And I'm sitting there looking at MK Ultra, and they're like, yeah, we took military personnel and we gave them LSD. We gave civilians, yeah, we experimented on civilians on high doses of LSD, and the CIA releases the records on it because of the FOIA Act. So like, yeah, at this point, yeah, source may seem a little out there, but you never know. In like 20, 30 years, yeah, he was just saying what was going on in his DNA, man. He just had his brain just automatically plugged right into his DNA, and he was
Well,
just reading right from it.
well, it's just that my pattern recognition skill is like off the charts, so I can recognize patterns, and my DNA has like a hold of vibrations or what you call it's information from the past, and things, people or bone structures, even the shape of people, the voice of people could also turn on like parts or components in me. So like I won't know something until I meet a certain person. That's why I always say when wars happen and people die, I get information, and so either it matters to me not because it has to serve me one way or the other because I'm at the highest mental order. So I have no choice but to just gain information from anything, whether it's the bad thing that happens to people, you know, like or the good things, what's his name died or whatever. It just gave me a shitload of information about the stupidity of how politics and people are operating. And it's just like, a lot of people are just like cattle because they're locked in a bubble they can't get out because of proximity to the same people, generation after generation after generation, having the same kind of conversations, drinking the same kind of coffee. Everything's shaped the same,
So
and that's
let
why
me ask
there's
you
no
this.
chaos.
Hey, let me ask you
There's
this.
no
How do you
transition.
feel? How do you feel when there's a soul lost here?
Well, it don't get lost. What happens when it's really hard to lose a soul because sometimes people have siblings that have other kids, but in most cases, a soul only gets lost when the person makes no child and they're like the last of a certain kind of species. Or sometimes like people are really fucked up, so like they have a certain bone structure, and people start to like phase them out and fizzle them out of existence, one way or the other.
So you kind of believe in reincarnation.
No, well,
Really?
reincarnation
No.
is literally you just making a baby, and then it's called a gene ration. That's what generation is. A generation is just a gene ration, and they ration it with like timelines and stories and propaganda and stuff like that. The rationing is all the information around the gene. The
I just say that
operation
because I
of your
like.
gene, right, is like from birth, from portal entry, meaning birth, to like the exit of the realm, right? When you exit the realm is when your body's disintegrated and everything, or
The
nobody thinks
realms.
of you anymore. That's the total disintegration when there's no thought of you anymore. You
There's a
get what I'm saying?
physical and there's a
So
spiritual.
right. So but the physical is just the macro because it's all physical. There's really no spiritual or physical. It's just the macro is the spiritual in the here and now, and then the spiritual, what we consider spiritual, right? In that sort of like that phrase, right? That phrase we use, right? Oh, it's spiritual. What that means to us in our mind is something that's invisible, the unseen, controlling. But that's really yesterday, or that's really the time before, the moment before, the here and now. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so right now is the spirit of the next thing you like tomorrow. The
So when
conversation we're having right now is the
so
spirit of, right? So you're a spiritual being because
what
there's
are
rituals.
Hmm.
what
Somebody was asking
are,
me something.
Well, on that note, gentlemen, I do have to call it a night. I have to be up early tomorrow, but always engaging. Thank you, Yellow. Thank you, Jackie.
You already know.
And
Yes,
Josh,
sir.
man, nice to
It's
meet
always
you.
fun.
hear you?
Yeah, and y'all take it easy, man. And
You have a good night.
All I
source,
can say, move
source,
be good.
always interesting, man. Yo, be good, man.
Yeah, I ain't had shoes in a while, man. I need to go find some.
Oh, jeez. Y'all be good or be good at it, man.
All right, move be
Good.
Yeah,
good.
Hold it down, brother. Have a good night.
you're not
Thank you.
supposed to. Good night, brother. You're not supposed to eat shrooms to get high, man. You're supposed to just take a little piece and feel that breathing in your stomach, that little giggle, and then exercise. and then your vision and everything get better and sharper. And they're just like nibble bits and pieces, but you don't want to take it until the world gets wiggly and you start talking to things and all that goofy shit. You know. Also, yeah, doing all that type of stuff when you're young, that's a problem. That's because you have an empty head. You know, you're supposed to. I think that some of those things is for mature people, man. You
So
gotta have
too.
a life full of experience, and then yeah, you're not empty headed, so you're not like spaced out, turn into a zombie because you ain't got
And
shit
I
to
and,
process.
and
Because you know,
I don't think it'd be like empty. I just think a chemical imbalance type of thing. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
body ain't fully
exactly.
functioned, mature yet. Your
Well,
body ain't fully,
well, that's
you know.
experiences is a host of chemicals. Like if we want to dissect your experiences right now, right inside of you, you have to talk it and articulate it. But that's just the generation of the manifesto of the chemical arrangement in your brain. So experience, yeah, if you can figure out the chemical compounds to match experience and then put that or trigger that in somebody's brain, then at any age you can give somebody drugs and get good results, right? You get what I'm saying? But like
Hmm.
if you can't trigger, if you don't know the mathematics or the calculations to make a 5-year old's brain as adaptive as a 35-year old's brain to a burst of complete total self introspection, right? Because that's what it is. It's like it helps when you take LSD and shit like that. You're internally monitoring the monitoring of your monitoring. You get what I'm saying? So if there's nothing in there, no like fabrications or like codes or like carved out chemical shapes, whatever the fuck it is, then you're going to literally take an empty space and duplicate the empty space over and over and over and over and over. So then you'll be a zombie. That's why some people they do it and then they could rap whole albums and shit because they have a lot of stuff in their mind, a lot of experiences, right? And
I
that
could
could
do that
burn
shit
out
off.
too, like a little witness. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you never did like LSD and you like right now at the age you are and you pop that in you, you could do what Lil Wayne did 20 years ago, like easy right now. But
A
if you was
horrible
drugged
rapper.
out and burnt out, like if you've been doing it since you was like 16 or some shit, you burnt out. Like if you never used the opportunity, right? Or if you never had experiences, you just kept doing it in a room, which is what a lot of kids do in suburban America. They do these type of drugs in a room and they don't have no experiences. Nothing is shaking their body up to give them experiences, and they just high in this room. And they start like at 15. They got nobody's arresting them or locking them up for it, right? Because they're not walking down the street and just getting scooped up by cops. You know, you're better
Right.
off being a drug kid. You're better off being like a nigga that's like drugged up at 16, getting harassed by cops, than say like a white kid in suburban America not being harassed by cops, getting to like go to the park and try whatever new drugs some new brings up to you. You know what I mean? Because nobody gonna stop you, right? But at least you
Hmm.
go to jail, niggas might make fun of you, if, depending on how you handle your shit, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, you know, so there's like perks to everything. You know, I don't really talk negative about like groups of people specifically. I just see it all, and you know, sometimes I think some people really gotta like they really gotta understand like where you're because when you hanging out with me who is God, then you God too. That obviously means I think you're responsible just by the fact that I'm even talking to you, right? And you have the ability to control and contort society the same way I do without having to be a fucking celebrity, you know?
Hmm.
So being aware of a problem means that you've already conditioned the spiritual realm against it, you know? And I have so many bodies that's connected to like, you know, when I say I have bodies, that includes each and every one of you that's on this chat with me, right? We synchronize. So you're a body I have. That means, you know, your pattern, my patterns, it's like all connected and it works for the benefit. That's why right now, here and now, so far, we agree. You get what I'm saying? Like whatever I walk or whatever that is, whatever our walk in life is, right now, at this moment, we agree it accumulates to this agreement, this spirit of agreement. We're sitting here, we're chilling, we're talking. right?
And I
So
tell you, you never change from like I said, the first time we getting on the panel, and this is how you described it. Your exact words. I'm gonna tell you your exact words because you're describing the same thing right now. We was antennas of you. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
when you said that, that should have me, raise the eyebrow for it. Like, the fuck you mean we're antenna of you, bro? Like, you God, this, that, and third. And like I said, I grew up around God body. You know what I mean? I grew up around where God body first started out. You know what I mean? Out here
mhm,
in the mecca of Brownsville and East New York, Canarsie area. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So, so I understood what you were saying, and but how you was articulating it, and then I'm like, this nigga real. Like I took like how
And
we was
let
thinking. You know what
let
I mean?
and let me
So
explain something to you too.
I ain't hear him though. Go ahead.
Hey, hey, yo, and something about I always gotta tell people about Nation of the Gods and Five Percenters is that had that not existed in America, I wouldn't be able to talk to you because I always been this way, but I didn't have nobody like when my mom's first got charging me, and I was roaming in the streets in New York and shit. Like I couldn't talk to nobody about these type of things except like five percenters.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I ended up having to learn who they was. A dude named Born God Allah from Flatbush put to me in, and then from there I just basically started just studying whatever so I could have like the ability to exchange thoughts and word patterns and things. And they were like the most agreeable people I could actually say who I am without being offended and shit. Because people like my own family go crazy on me for saying shit like that. But
I know,
I had no
but
choice.
you would get a lot. You would get a lot of Christian. You would get non-religious people. You would get a lot of people
Yeah,
who
yeah,
are
yeah.
Catholic that would look at you awkward. You know what I mean? And look at you sideways because how they was taught. And I also think like how we was taught, whether religion, whether it be schooling as well, that we wasn't taught to survive in a nature. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
They didn't teach us everything because they're afraid of the potential that we could like reach. You know,
Hmm.
that's why
But
they
yeah, but
lack everything.
everything is from a mindset that I have, it doesn't really negate anything. Like I could sit here and after I tell you about all the tragedies of the world, I could also show you how it's balanced. So it's not really like I even have a thing that's really wrong with anything. Like
Yin
you get what
yang.
I'm saying? I can't share that with everybody. Sometimes people just get so pissed off about that factor of my nature. It's like how what you want me to do? Fight with you? Like okay, so what you got the guns? You got the money? We got what we doing? Who we rolling on? We
And,
go.
and
You know what I'm saying?
and I'm American, and as much as I grew up around Caribbean, my godmother's Trinidadians,
Yeah.
right? So I grew up around that culture, and I seen how she was a hard worker. I seen how she built her family, but I also seen another Trinidadian family grow up, and had the same foundation, but was a little bit different on how they they stood they were still more in tune with the islands. You understand? Where
Right.
my godmother was getting westernized, but still being, still had in tune
Hmm.
with her culture, but was still being westernized. And then everybody
Hmm.
that fell under her umbrella was either being westernized or being culturized by another culture. Was and
Hmm.
I'm talking about Jamaican, because my
Pick that shit up
my
from
god sister one, she married a Jamaican. She started dealing with Jamaicans. But to go back to the original story, um, I just kind of think that Caribbean people from the islands, whether it be any islands on the Caribbean coastline, you know what I mean, or coming from that way, I kind of think they're a little bit more spiritual than American. You know what I mean? Than the United States of America.
Yeah. I
Could
mean,
be.
I think us
because
out here, us African Americans out here, we lost. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that we lost, like we just lost and don't know who we are spiritually. We may know who we are, as far as traditional ancestry. You know what I mean? But spiritually, we lost because we are trying to grab. We got lost in
I could,
religion, whether it be Christianity, but like we just lost, bro.
but can I tell you something?
Hmm.
And it goes back to my nature, and it all goes back to how I believe in myself because I'm here, and it's like I gotta, of course, at some point maybe I will find information to change it, and then I will also rearrange reality too. God is Himself lost. I'm lost because I've been living forever, and I don't know what's next after forever because all I know is forever, right? And I never had a mother, so when I take a human form, I always have an issue with a mom, right? And the people that's the closest to me are going to, their lifestyle and patterns are going to resemble a lot of the sicknesses or things that the abuses that I've had collected as a boy, because the people around me didn't adhere to either their grandfather, who was me a long time ago, telling them, hey, move this way during this particular time. And it never changes, but it also creates balance, right? It gives room for oscillation because you need to have a pattern of downward motion so you can have upward motion, right? Like the stock market, right? But inflation is always happening, and that's what the crisis of forever is, right? The value of some human bodies or some souls, some spirits of reality will remain a certain way, while the price of it has to change because of inflation, right? You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because new things have to occur to even sustain the thing that you're holding on to. So in order for niggas to still be niggas, you still need new races of people to exist. And in order for new races of people to fucking exist, they still need niggas to exist. You get what I'm saying? So
So that,
they're the new race or the new crop, right, needs to grow, but like old branches and shit still want to remain there and like basically stifle out the oxygen from getting into the soil and creating a nice mixture or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So it's like everything around you mimics that. So like if I really break down how I exist, that my father was a hyper intelligent man who found my mother as good stock, breeded me into her. It sounds just like the story of Jesus, right? And then I fucking they try to get me up to the system, but my grandparents had to come and save me and all this other shit, right? Only for me to have to come and be handed to the system again, you know, then the people that behave or who exist like me, whose mothers are just like my mother, who come from privilege but give it up for something new and different, right? Those people are going to suffer the same stuff that. So whatever I've been through in my life is what the society of niggas in America. Because even though I'm not an FBA, I am actually natural to the land formation because it's all one body. Like my mother's Trinidadian, my dad is Colombian. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's not like I'm not a foundational spiritual being from the land. So basically, in short, like I could literally map out what's gonna happen next. And so the lost part that the African American is gonna feel is because I didn't even decide like where I want to set up camp as the next place for my offspring, like my actual offspring that my character made as God. I'm gonna be God and I'm gonna make children here on earth with people and tell them I'm doing it and leave them here with people and you know, see what happens then. But basically, I didn't like right now. If you're a black conscious person, tell me this is not true. You don't know whether you're African or you're indigenous American or everybody come from here, or you don't even know if you come from space, or you feel like you come from all of those things at the same time, but not really sure. Do you feel like that?
There's a lot of people that feel like that out here. Yep.
Huh?
oh,
Uh, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people
Because
that
I
feel
didn't
like
make a
that.
decision yet. And I'm going to make a decision based on logic and what's suitable for my kids. So think about if there's mixed kids on a planet, right? What's the most suitable environment for them?
so if it's what on the planet?
Mixed children on a planet. if you were the Most High and you came and you created a child that's a blend of two kinds of people who always war with each other, right? What would be
Right.
the suitable environment for those children
Shit, they gonna
in
find
such a world?
Urban.
Besides that, like what would be the nature of how the planet needs to be? Like if you created this realm yourself and you took it upon yourself to be a human male and you wanted to blend a child out of the two most warring factors of humanity, right? And you made a male child of those two factors. So he's going to progress the blending of these two factors. What would be the perfect environment? One where these motherfuckers that's warring either stop warring or they don't fucking exist no more, right?
Okay. I see what you mean.
So it could be like a curated existence where, hey, you get to watch these golden children that you and your former enemy, who really aren't enemies but are components in a mega construct to drive the spirit of the Most High, which is all of you, right? And you get to remember that, and then you get to remember how to take your body parts and push it into other types of body parts and become superhumans again, and crystallize yourself through reproduction, not building robots and cutting off your arm and trying to build a super arm. That's retarded. You just gotta find people with super arms and put your sperm in them, right? Make super arm babies. You get what I'm saying? And you can add. You can build you can literally humans could sit down and we have the internet to communicate. We can record whose children is this. Instead of doing it to like maybe poison this group of people so they don't exist or outmate us. You get what I'm saying? All that goofy shit. Because it all boils down to reproduction. Everything is about reproduction. Everything.
So
If people,
what came first, the chicken or the egg?
the chicken or the egg, there was probably a time where there was no eggs. And somebody designed the chicken, right? To produce eggs to store the protein so they could choose at whatever point they want to fertilize it externally. So probably the chicken came first, but the chicken probably was something else.
Evolve. Yep. It evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
You know.
that's the story I heard about a chicken.
Now, if you want to just be honest, a blob came first. A physical blob came first. Like basically, a blob of light and sound and vibration came first, and
Right.
then it needed mathematical points to make a sense
Electricity.
of you know. So this is why you got like 5 fingers on one hand, and every once in a while you get people with 6, right?
Yep.
Because
Digits.
it's all a mathematical. It's all just like a symbol of just thoughts, massive amounts of thoughts. Some people really have confidence. That's why they handsome,
Huh.
right?
Right.
Because some people have what?
You know how some people are handsome naturally is because they're a lifelong compilation of thoughts that put together to make that person,
Oh, that was a bunch of
right?
thoughts. I'm good with that.
It's a bunch of thoughts. Yeah. But right? How could you could say, well, then if that's true, how could a handsome person do ugly things? Well, guess what? Handsome person was born in a system where a mother could go make a baby with an ugly nigga. Now he got an ugly brother who hate him. Ugly brother teach handsome brother stupid shit, or ugly uncle fuck with handsome brother. You get what I'm saying? And turn handsome brother into a weirdo, or this, all these different factors, man. It plays in, or
Right.
people just fucking with the, whatever it is. It's all these different constructs make people what they are, but it's all about residual and proximity. You can see it, right? A pretty girl in a family full of fat bitches is going to be tormented. We all know that,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
right? So, all those things are just there to basically explain the way itself and to show you what data package you're either gonna enter. Because remember, for a man, she's a gateway, and for her, you're energizer or something that's going to give her ink to print with, right? So, you know, yeah, when you're looking at females, man, we gotta like be more beyond the racial constructs and all these dumb ideologies, which is really just inbred isms. It's the isms of inbreeding, just being around only the same kind of thing over and over and over, harboring. Which is why there's people out there who don't believe in racism. Why would there be people who don't believe in racism with people who do believe in it? What is
Because
in their proximity,
if
right?
you
They're in the
continue,
proximity of mixture.
Either a mixture or nothing. No mixture,
Now,
because you're not.
people who listen, people who don't really go around other people, they could tell you they're not racist, but that's just ethics and code talking. If you don't go around other people, you're definitely racist. If you're not mating with them, you're definitely racist. You're carrying the code of racism because especially if you deliberately choose not to mate with somebody on purpose. You go out your way to like not. Sometimes it's by proxy. Then you got lazy mating habits, right? That also is a part of inbreedism. That's a symptom of inbreedism. Lazy mating habit means is that you just mate with somebody who likes you because they're right there. There's no consideration of the nature of the reality around you, the economics, nothing. Like there's no grand scale of thought went into what you just happen to like the person. Y'all think the same, you like the same music. Oh shit, we're perfect for each other. And you make a baby, and then what end up happening is you just make more FUD or what you call what they call those people, the elites like to call them, the people that you can just use for whatever, just more fluff,
Pawn,
puppets, more
pawns.
yeah, more pawns. Yeah, more human, not something non-essential humans or whatever the fuck it is. But just human fodder or some shit like that. Yeah, like like human filler. Like to just add, like what you add when you grinding up meat. Yeah, it's a really fucked up expression, but you got to understand a consciousness could visualize you're on a plane, right, and you're looking down on people, right? You see how that looks to you? There are mindsets inside of human bodies because it needs a peephole. That's why the word people literally sounds like peephole, right? I like to use that expression a lot. I write it out so people can get it. Like PEEPHOLE. That's really what you are, a peephole. And a spirit uses you or formation of spirit, right? A frequency or fluctuation comes upon you and it operates, right? For most of us, that's just the name we are and the impressions our family and life gave us. And then for some of us, based on our DNA and however it works, it unlocks more stuff, right? But like people don't realize that everything around them is an expression of self. Like they could say it, they could read it, and they just like to like embrace it in reality is somehow hard for them. And the reason why that is because you're not genetically unlucky. You have to either have cousins or have like this is why you'll find you feel like Caribbean people are spiritual, but Caribbean people feel that way about Americans too, right? Maybe they ain't telling each other that, but that's because the variation in the vibrance creates a oscillation, which is like you have momentum to create something. So if you have a neighborhood where you fill it up with a bunch of Caribbean people, but there's also a bunch of FBAs there, what you're gonna end up having is a clash of sorts, right? But once they work out the clash is just like a membrane. Inside there's a nucleus, right? And the nucleus would be like the artistry or the creativity. So now you're gonna end up having niggas either creating some kind of rap or some kind of art form or some shit, right? Um, but eventually that burns out because all those people who generated it and created it, who ate the most from it, right? They end up interbreeding with each other. So now you have cultural inbredism. So you could have like a black dude and a Puerto Rican chick in the hip hop game, but they both rappers and celebrities, right? They breed with each other, but it's still the same culture. They just gobbling up, right, and regurgitate. You get what I'm saying? So there's like different patterns and layers. It's not just the skin color that makes an inbred, right? From the perspective that I can explain it to you, because there's all these like I'm inbred in so many ways too, and I have to create myself in a different way in order to purge that. But I'm aware enough to know how I need to go to get to that level. Sometimes I also have to make myself a little less sensitive to what I'm sensitive to right now. In other words, I need to like close my mind on certain knowledge that I have the ability just based on how I'm built to get. But in order to do that, I have to become a new me. I can't be a nigga again and close the door on certain things. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I have to consciously do it, you know? I have to consciously change myself, change the way my hair is, so that way I don't pick up too much information a certain way, you know?
That like,
And now I gotta reroute energy.
that's for sure. I mean, before I'm about, well, shit, we knocking on 4 hours, man.
Yeah, I'm
Y'all
about
got
to
any
run,
last thoughts?
man.
Or y'all want to keep going? Pause.
I'm about to get off, champ. Yo, we
Yeah,
already know
remember I
how
Yo,
told
we.
yo,
y'all
last thought.
if y'all trick me into some shit and make me think it's important, I'm gonna just keep talking about it. It don't matter what it is. So
Oh,
I
no,
could
do it.
solve
Do it.
problems and
Before,
shit.
Nah,
after the damn,
it ain't
after the
even tricky.
video.
I'm listening to what you're saying. I mean, so and I'm just trying to get a better understanding of shit. And you not you don't got you ain't repeating yourself, and you not saying no dumb shit that's not understandable. Some shit I
Yeah,
don't
man.
understand, but you are saying shit that makes sense, and it's you could break it down. You could break it down and define it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's so
Right.
relative to you, especially. Maybe you didn't put the thought into it, you know, like love is love and all that, which is also part of the scheme. You know what I mean? Everything works to benefit the Most High. So you exist so that way I can make my point clear because you know you see certain things that other people can't see because they don't have a child like you do. You know what I mean? So, and then also a lot of brothers made children like that just having fun and not willfully. You get what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
we get to express it from a deliberate perspective that gets to help those kind of children exist in a world where there's black people telling them, you're a traitor, you're going to treat us just like they did in Rome. You're going to pick the white man's side and betray. And then you got the white people saying, you're a, mud shark baby or whatever the fuck it is. You get what I'm saying? So these children are unique individuals who possess everything that we are and some. And so, that's also the route that I have to take to do my second coming for the million time again. These niggas think I'm coming the second time. I done came so many times. You know how many bitches I fucked?
Whoa. Okay, okay, that makes sense now.
Niggas be like, hey, he gonna come another time. Like, bitch, I done came like billions of times. Shit.
Yo, Uncle Jackie, I appreciate the platform. I always love
Hmm.
this. It usually be a conspiracy theory Thursday, Friday shit, but we vibing
Well, it's
on a
conspiracy
Saturday,
theory this shit.
speaking some real shit. I mean, hopefully, some more people tune in to catch with to what we saying and throw a little comment up there and join us again for our next episode. You know what I mean? Source being always a pleasure. Josh, always a pleasure, bro.
Definitely.
You
Hey, thank
definitely be
y'all, man.
building as well, and moves as well. Appreciate you, man. You already know. I'm gonna catch y'all
Right,
next week,
move.
man.
All right, hold it down, bro. Appreciate you, my
Yeah.
man.
Hey, peace on the gods,
Appreciate
man.
all of you.
Peace on the gods
Got
and
the
love.
black question.
Peace.
Peace.
Nah, man. Hey, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yo, no doubt, bro,
I
man.
want you to grow, man. We need regular conversations without all that editing. You don't need to do editing. Keep it the way funky, man. If you wanna be old school and put your phone on the camera, you do
Yep.
that.
I
I might. I was thinking of doing the same shit too, bro. Because I gotta relearn a whole bunch of stuff that I used to know.
download it. I only want to download videos.
Yeah, yeah. I know the feeling, and then do all the cutting and the pasting and the editing and all that
Pull up
bullshit.
my phone. I'm
You
good.
should get a
I
nice
just
tablet, right? A nice tablet and a separate. a nice tablet and a separate camera, and just have the camera pointing at the tablet or something, or a monitor, a regular TV screen that just you put your you Wi-Fi direct your stuff on it, so you can click your thumb on your smartphone.
That way it look like a movie screen. Like if I do
Yeah,
if I do this shit the certain way, take everybody off the screen and just put just my screen, then it'll look like
yeah,
some movie shit.
yeah. Hey, we still live.
I know. I'm about to dead
Oh,
it now. I
okay.
just wanted to thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you two Source. Appreciate everybody. Doc, Josh, Moves. Appreciate everybody who tuned in, who's gonna tune in later. But we about to get the hell out of here. It's knocking on 4 hours. I'm
Yeah,
about
that's
to
crazy.
lay my shit. And it's so real. We've been on so long, man. I done prepared fucking dinner for tomorrow. Prepared, not cooked, but prepared it. So, yeah, you have a good night, brother, and hope to see you next week. Peace.
Peace, man. Yeah.
All right, one.